I'ma make the stacks blow, rolling smoke out my nose, leaning on the console. I ain't seen no asphalt in about 10 miles, riding dirty in a heavy Chevy.
What's up, dude?
What's going on, man?
I know we're thinking of changing the podcast. We haven't told anybody yet. So, hey, news is out. We'll chat about it later. We got to keep the same music, you think?
Man, I don't know. I'm not against it.
You want to change it?
We'll see.
Shout out to Long Cut. So my buddy JT, he's also a Marine.
Yeah.
Good dude. He was that guy in the Marine Corps with us. He was an instructor. Super good at rapping. So when we're in the trucks or going to the range and shit, he would just make fun of you rapping.
Yeah.
You can't fight someone rapping. You have to rap back. I can't fucking rap.
I can't rap.
None of us can rap.
No.
So you just have to laugh, pretending like you're laughing at yourself, like what he's saying is acceptable. Oh yeah,
it is kind of amusing though. Like if you're gonna get made fun of, I'd much rather get made fun of in a rap.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like in the Marine Corps, you just don't want to give a guy a fucking point, dude.
Sure, yeah.
You're all the time. Man, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of that guy after
24/7, bro.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not that I would ever think that. Good dude. Shout out to Long Cut. Apparently Eli might be changing the music on us, guys. So
we'll see. Maybe not though.
We're gonna find out. But we got a good buddy on, another Marine who's on today, Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Good dude. We're gonna talk about what he's got going on and everything he does with his coaching, et cetera, et cetera. But just to like paint everybody's just to kind of paint a picture of just proximity, like what social media can do for you. Austin's got a great Instagram page. Austin Hancock, correct?
Hancock. Yep.
Hancock on Instagram.
Yep. Austin.Hancock1.
You and I dude, I literally reached out because I had a buddy of yours, Taylor, on.
Yeah.
Super good dude. But even before having Taylor on, just watching social media and just who's doing what, who's being positive, and I don't know, proximity or where you popped up in my news feed, but I think a lot of folks don't do this enough. You literally popped up in my news feed. I'm just watching stuff and I'm seeing your stuff. Oh, cool. Threw you a follow. Probably threw you a follow for, I don't know, man, 3 or 4 months before I even reached out to you.
Yeah.
Just like your
dude, thanks, bro.
Hey, cool cat. Good dude, like doing his fucking
keeping
thing.
it real.
Cool. And then reach out like, hey man, I love what you're doing. Had your boy Taylor on, et cetera, et cetera. Hey, I'd love to have you on the podcast.
Hell yeah.
Let's just start right there. People don't, we have all these opinions about social media. It's propaganda, it's negative, it's whatever, right? It's cool.
Yeah.
You ever thought that it could just be what you need it to be for you? You ever thought that it can be whatever you make it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How well do you communicate on there? What are you deciding to absorb when you're on there, et cetera, et cetera. And as much as we've grown our podcast, 1 million downloads, whatever, cool. We're doing our business, cool. I'm still a fucking fan.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I'm still on there
using it in the capacity, right?
Just watching good dudes, good ladies, do their thing, fucking rock out, take charge of what they're doing. I like their message. And I think people don't understand that even when you're a practitioner of positivity, that's me on a new podcast. Yeah. Even if you're a practitioner of positivity and you're right, like for me, dude, hey man, we're teaching our realtors and we're doing your thing, but I'm still a student, as in I still have to learn from people, and I'm still a fan, as in I can sit in the stands and just fucking watch Austin rock out and do his fucking thing and
never stop learning.
But be a fan of your podcast or be a fan of your social,
sure,
right, et cetera, and then I just reach out to you.
It's just supporting people, supporting the right people,
dude. Here's what's crazy. I'll say that, and then people will say, yeah, dude, but you got a big following. People they can look who follows you and reference. And I'm like, so then it works for me. It wouldn't work for them. I'm like, yeah, no, for sure. But explain Andy Frisella to me.
Yeah.
Because we had Andy Frisella on our podcast. What episode was that? 10?
It was early. Super early.
And everyone goes, dude, you had Andy Frisella on your podcast? I go, yeah. They go, how? I go, well, I asked him. They go, yeah, but how? I go, well, I went to his website and it said, think Andy's a good fit for your podcast. And I clicked the button. Guys, I'm a fucking Marine. Let's not get weird. Okay? I'm a fucking Marine.
I didn't overthink it.
Think Andy's a good fit for your podcast. Click here. It couldn't have been any more fucking obvious. I click. No. I write an email. And I get to say some accomplishments we had in business. We were top 1% in the world for Berkshire Hathaway for production. And hey, we've been following MFCEO for however long. We're big fans. She kind of checked. I guess his wife screens those emails.
Okay.
And she reached back after a couple weeks. She's like, hey, you are who you say you are. We think Andy would be a great fit for your show.
Sick.
Here's what I learned from that. He was a big deal back then. He's a big deal now. He was still putting himself on other people's podcasts to increase his audience.
Yep.
So boom. That's something we still approach to this day.
Love it.
Your own expansion. Secondly, oh fuck. They could have said no, but they didn't. They said yes. We had him on. He talked about suicide, dude. He talked about some shit I'd never even heard him talk about.
Wow.
At the end, he goes, man, I can tell you guys are fans because of the questions you ask me. And then he's like, you know what? You guys should be on my show. We're like, you have guests? He goes, not yet. We're starting next month. Email my wife. Let her know I said it's okay. I want to have you guys out. You guys are just cool motherfuckers.
Sick.
Dude, we had zero fucking business being on that podcast, bro.
Yeah,
zero fucking business.
Yep.
I'm literally watching my phone. Dude, I grew like 40,000 followers from that. No shit. Don't tell you. Dude, people were mailing me cookies.
Damn.
T-shirts.
Like other dudes that had like
yeah.
mechanic shops or like mailing me shirts and cookies and like my wife's like, are you going to eat those? I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going to eat them. What do you think? You're trying to poison me? What am I, JFK? I'm a fucking guy. But
I'll be fine.
But you know what's so cool about that? One is like Andy like doing that for some good guys. I'll never fucking forget that and try to be that guy for others. And then secondly, our message on that podcast was powerful for some people because we were just regular dudes. That's the whole fucking point. It's like we hadn't done anything special. We were just in pursuit of what we wanted to be. And Andy being a good guy recognized that and just blessed us. But I'm like, so it's like, well, explain me doing that back in the day. But the point is, what I was doing back in the day is what I'm still doing now, dude. Like I was just following your social. I'm like, the guy's fucking shredded. He's got a great temperament about him. He's consistent with his content. Like, man, that's a good dude to be around. And then I just reach out to you. You could have said no.
I was like, what's up?
You said not. You said yes.
Yeah. I say yes.
But dude, why aren't people using social media more as a tool?
It's such a power tool.
100%, right? So first and foremost, thanks for being on.
For sure.
Thanks for making the trip to fucking Denver.
course.
Like, thanks for putting that time into it. And I just wish people just didn't make it so complicated about like what social media is like. Hey, what could it be for you? How could you use it? Where are you finding your own consistencies in pursuit? And then are you opening a door and inviting others that are positive around you?
100%.
Or are you just consuming whatever that platform throws in front of you?
Exactly. That's the question.
100%. But even when we weren't a big deal, we had great fucking guys on podcasts, man.
Dude.
And then we just learned so much from them, and like now it's grown into what it's grown into. But like,
and if you look at social media, man, one thing that's super cool is like there'll be some dudes that have hardly any following, but that have done some big shit in life,
buddy.
And so you don't fucking gloss over certain people just because you haven't. Oh, they're only got 1,500 follower. So I'm like, dude, this guy's done some big stuff in life, right? Not every business owner that's done millions and millions or whatever they've done, or maybe they've done some crazy expedition or have some travels or have some connections. Like, just respect people, you know?
But Andy was like, I think he saw a lot of him inside of us.
Yeah.
Not literally, you know?
Yeah, not gay.
But like, but I feel like he's just like, hey, look at these two fucking young hustlers doing a fucking podcast. It was like in a unfinished basement in this little fucking house. Like
we made it look good though.
It was ripped.
Yeah.
But we just documented what we were doing. It's just powerful. But man, I just felt like in the beginning of this podcast, we need to highlight how simplistic things can be if you just eliminate distraction from your life, whatever, but even from like your own rationale. Like sometimes we will rationalize and pontificate to ourselves so much about so many barriers versus like, look, dude, reach out. They say yes, they say no, they don't respond. Some people will say yes, but then they just weren't the right person, or they'll gloss over you because you're not whatever. Like, yeah, man, there's going to be that in there, but that shouldn't 100%. Slow your pursuit down to find just like good people.
Well, I tell people this about real estate specifically. Like, you cannot ever purchase an investment property you never make an offer on. So fucking open your mouth, ask them, make an offer. If they say no, they say no. You can't ever find the chick if you don't ask her.
Some are going to say yes, and then the deal gets fucked.
That's
and you're like, man, I never should have offered. No,
you always should offer
as a lesson. And speaking of real estate, that gets us into you, right? So like, nature of podcast for this one, and we're getting ready to like open this up and make it more broad. But for the sake right now, it's day $1 like curious about your story.
Sure.
We talked a little bit from the airport to hear about you, a little bit about growing up.
Sure.
Dude, he told me fucking tattoos were illegal in Oklahoma.
Yeah, there's no tattoo shops up until 2006.
No way.
It was the last state to pass the legality.
Wow.
Yeah, I got my first tattoo at 17 years old in someone's kitchen. And, my parents thought, fucking thank God I didn't get hep like B or something.
I bet you could have gotten like a cattle brand though.
Yeah, bro.
Right?
Yeah, 100%. You can find
or
that.
you could have fucked your sister.
That's Arkansas, bro.
Oh shit.
But I'm curious,
Sorry,
man. Like,
everybody.
no. Hey, this is our podcast.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
You're also not wrong. So,
but you do a lot with real estate investing. You do a lot of like owning your own real estate. Now you've got into coaching, performance coaching. You're helping people in real estate. You're helping people better their life. We're gonna get into that in the back half of the podcast, but. really curious, man, from like just growing up to getting in the Marine Corps, like
Right.
where you from, how you come, like how it all got started, man.
Let's just jump into it. So I'm from Edmond, Oklahoma, just north of Oklahoma City. I come from the suburbs. I had a pretty gravy life, you know. I put up a kid riding my bike, playing baseball, freaking wrestling. You know, I was a pretty standard American middle class kid, you know, in Oklahoma. I didn't need for anything, I should say.
Yeah.
My parents are great, very conservative folks. Went to church on Sundays. You know, no booze in the house.
Were they like real? Like were they like
They weren't off the rails.
So not like Southern Baptist.
No, not Southern Baptist. They're pretty cool. My dad would lose his shit and still cuss me out. Like,
okay,
yeah.
All right, cool.
But like no alcohol or anything. Like pretty. I mean, great people, honestly. I started testing that to the limits. I became the black sheep, right? I mean, like, they think they know something. You know, I need to figure it out. So 17 years old, I had started drinking, lying to my parents where I'm going to be and shit. And I got fucking 2 felonies and 2 misdemeanors at 17 years old as a senior in high school.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, and I wanted to be in the military. I just like you. We talked before this podcast, dude. I was reading all the books, watching the Navy SEAL movies. You know, all hyped up. You know, camo, doing paintball with my boys.
Young men need direction.
I needed direction.
Well, just young men in general too. Like Jocko talks about that a little bit, and he talked about like how close the line is to like criminal behavior and building like a drug lord, fucking whatever.
Yeah,
and guys that are high operators in the military, like
oh, it's very close.
It's very
It's very close.
You ever talk about like
it's a driven mentality, right?
You ever talk about what you got in trouble about?
Yeah, I'll talk about it. So essentially, I'd gotten in a lot of. I started fighting because I was drinking. I was fucking partying, right? It just ends up happening. 17 years old, pissed off. You know, started lifting weights senior year, stopped all sports, and started drinking and lifting. You know,
shit.
And so, anyways, I was partying, and essentially at this specific time, I was at a party. Some dude comes up to me and's like, hey, man, did you talk to my sister? And I was like, it's a house party. The guy's like, it's a college party, and I'm in high school. I'm a senior. So we're the youngest guys there. And my buddies are with me, like us 3, right? And I'm like, I don't fucking know, man. Like, maybe. I wasn't a dick or anything. I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
But, you know, a lot of egos flying around.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's like, oh, man, I can't hear you. Come outside. And I kind of looked at my buddy like, I come with me. Let's go. Well, I went out there, and the dude freaking cold cocks me. And he didn't give a shit. I didn't know if I even talked to his fucking sister, bro.
Yeah.
But he just jumped me, basically. And so we started scrapping. We leave. Long story short, we come back. And when we come back, we went to the truck.
Yeah.
And we got the fucking tire irons and everything out of the truck. And I come back, and they see us coming to the front door because we just ran through the house. And then they locked the front door, and then so we started cranking out all the windows in the house, cranking off mirrors on cars. Like, get the fuck out of here, pussy! You gonna fucking fight me like that? Jump me like that? I'll beat your ass.
Yeah,
dude. All jacked up.
Yep.
People got to be careful. Like,
I was ready to take it to level 1,000. You know, at that age.
Yeah.
Dude, even at 40, you kids will be there in a couple of years. You kids will be there.
Yeah.
Even at 40, when like someone will speed by my house or something, right? And I don't appreciate it. Yeah, it's like, but I'm so aware of like the attention I bring where I live, because at that, like, you don't know what anyone will do to your house driving by, whatever it may be. It's like, is it worth it? Like, let me just.
Well, at 17, you don't think about the
No, of
repercussions,
course.
bro.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about them. Like,
oh no, now you do, right?
Them trying to fucking fight you. At their fucking house. Like, hey, dude, and he said like.
Yeah, when you're young, you
they
still
should,
think
those guys should have fucking known better, man.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's their fault. We should revoke your felony.
Yeah. So what happened was I fucking go. I do that. I come in. I crank him over the head with the tire iron. Essentially, long story short, I could compress the story. And
did he live?
Yeah, he lived. But here's the fucked up part. So they had called the cops. So this is what happened. We busted out the windows. And they wouldn't let us in. We're like, fuck them. We were still riled up. Me and my buddy went and we're like, we're going to go get our upperclassmen buddy. You know, we're going to get our buddies. We're going to get more people. Fucking reveling the troops, you know. We all kind of rolled together, you know. Yeah. And so we go, but when we left, they called the cops to file the complaint. You know, we were crazy. So when we come back, the cops were right around the corner. They just took the report. They turned back around. I walk in the front door, crack him over the head with a tire iron. And then they had already called the cops again. I turn around after I start hitting him, and I turn around. The cops has a gun on me and shit.
Damn.
And so
that was it.
What happened? Yeah. And then I got the 2 felonies was assault with a deadly weapon, obvious. Burglary 1 because I went into the premises unwanted, so I didn't steal anything. But that's just what it is. And then I had 2 misdemeanors for the fucking trashing the property. And then what happens is you said something about did I kill him? It's a good question. So I went back to high school. I went back to school.
Oh,
I'm a
shit.
senior, bro. It's just like
Yeah.
before graduation. I'm 17. Fortunately, I'm 17. So I'm a youthful offender, not a fucking adult.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I went to the county and everything, but I got put with the youthful offenders. I didn't get put with GP.
Correct.
And so I was just there overnight. And essentially, I remember the rumor mill went around that I fucking killed the guy. And I don't know. I mean, I hit him. He's fine. He's still conscious when I hit him. And then the cops arrest me and I move on.
Yeah.
That's
But
it.
on my head, I'm like, oh, bro, I'm going to jail for murder for the rest of my
Mm-hmm.
life. This is the fucking end of it. Like, that's when it sunk in.
Yeah, because
Like,
that
and I was
easily
oh
could have
my
been that.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, somebody had a health issue or something, or I could have hit him harder in the wrong spot or something. I mean,
Yep.
yeah, it was bad.
And the tire iron, like there's not that many wrong spots on a head.
That's-
Like, they're all gonna work
It's
out.
all going to work out
Or
fine
not,
for me
depending
in the
on-
wrong
yeah.
way.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Well, so longevity of
So-
it, like he ended up being okay,
Yeah, he ended up being fine and everything. You know,
which helps your case because there's not
Totally.
permanent. There's not permanent.
Totally. And I still had a black eye and shit. Like, so, I mean, my mug shots are all, you know, he smoked me in the face a couple times when he jumped me. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was all there.
Damn.
But I wanted to go to the military. Like, I was looking at it, but this is what pushed me probably to commit more. Is I was working, and then so summer hits. I'm still going to court and shit.
Yep.
Working construction for my dad's
Now
company.
this summer is this after senior year
This
before?
summer, yeah, graduating.
Okay,
I
so
graduated,
got
and
it.
then I fucking have 2 felonies, pending felonies. You know,
Yeah.
not convictions but charges. And so I'm graduating with that shit, like horrible. Paved the way for my sister in high school, by the way. She was
Don't
fresh.
fuck with Austin's
Everybody
sister,
was
bro.
like, "Don't fuck with Austin's sister, bro." Like,
Yep.
so she
Yep.
had a gravy high school.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah, younger sister. That's good shit. You
I
know?
was the youngest of all girls.
Oh no shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it was all right. They
Yeah.
yeah. Fuck with me a little bit.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
You
some
learned.
like upperclassmen.
You probably
fun.
learned a bunch of shit that we didn't learn about, but
A
you had a
little
bunch
bit.
of freaking chicks at your house.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, that's cool. So
So
I'm like,
graduate.
I started working with the dude, construction. I'm doing labor and
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
Working for my dad's company. My dad owns a little construction company at the time.
Right.
And he's like, the guy's like, you should join the military. He's like, dude, I've always wanted to, but I have this going on now. What the fuck? He's like, go talk to the recruiter.
He's
Don't
like,
tell
no, no, no.
anybody. Just talk to the recruiter.
Just ask about waivers.
So this is 2006. As you know, there were waivers. Yes, everything. I mean, George Bush is doing the whole freaking push into Iraq, you know, all this, the surge.
Yeah.
And so they're wavering people left and right and shit. And they're just trying to scoop up people to send them over to Iraq. And anyways, I was like, fuck yeah, that's a great opportunity. So I was like, I want to be an Army Ranger. And he was like, no, go look at the Marines, dude. My dad was a Marine. I couldn't get in because he was a bull rider, busted his jaw.
Fuck yeah.
And I was like, he's like, I can't get in, but you need to go to the Marines. Trust me. And I was like, okay. So I fucking go to the Marine recruiter. That's the only one I went to. And it happens to be somebody that was willing to go to bat for me. Staff Sergeant Chadwell, if you're out there, it's badass. He was like, yeah, dude, I'll talk to your attorney. I'll go to fucking court with your attorney. He goes, I think we can sort this out. I was like, hell
Well, because
yeah.
dude, all jokes aside, all opportunities aside, it's like, hey, at the end of the day, if judges and other people are looking out for like our youth, what we want is for them to get back on track, to be a part of something bigger than themselves, and that requires discipline and structure and exposure to role models,
Yep.
aka the military.
Well, it could have gone one of two ways.
Yeah,
We could
dude.
go south. I was going to go to a juvenile delinquent center, which is what I was looking at, like 6 month juvie time minimum, because the freaking judge wanted to roast me. And then, but dude, that was going to spiral out. Like someone's going to fuck with you. You get in a fight, you're just racking up these things. It's
You
just
get
a
out, you go to
cesspool, bro.
construction, and then you start drinking again. Who knows?
Exactly.
You just
bro.
never know
with
what that
no
looks
with
like.
no path.
Correct.
Right. And so the
No
Marine Corps was the
leadership.
best thing for me, man. It was like being reborn. Like I love the Marine Corps.
And like,
for that.
listen, dude, we were the Marines. People forget this. Okay, they're like, don't be an Army Ranger. Like, why not? Don't be a SEAL. Why not? Let me just remind everybody of our history. The Marine Corps was born in a fucking bar.
Dung Tavern.
Okay, like
That's right.
1775. A bunch of half drunk, tough degenerates were like, hey, we got a better way to do this.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Let's harness this energy, boys.
And then they start jumping on boats and killing motherfuckers,
Yep.
and it's working. And then it works good enough. They go, yeah, make them a branch.
Well, I was like a black sheep, right? Like my parents thought it was over. Like they were very, like I said, conservative
And
folks.
dude, imagine now, like being a father now.
Oh, God.
You were good until you weren't good. It was like
exactly. Little
you had-
testosterone,
you
life
had
change.
a bad fucking couple months of like
Oh,
being
dude,
cool.
it was just month to month. Yeah, because all it was.
And I bet your parents woke up and they're just like, what the fuck
What did he do? Yeah.
is going on? Like, where
That's
the
exactly
fuck?
what happened.
Or like what they're thinking, like, what the fuck do we do?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Where the fuck did this go wrong?
Yeah, they wanted, more control. They're like, you need to go to a Christian college. You need to freaking, not do all these things. And
They were gonna
I was
like do an
hell
exorcism.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Straight
fuck yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Straight Oklahoma shit,
Yeah.
buddy. Like,
So
oh,
I
man.
got in, and then they offered me essentially they expunged my record for joining the Marine Corps in 2006.
Nice.
How was boot camp?
It was wild, dude. 2006 was fucking hardcore.
Dude, I was February 05.
Yeah, I mean, you're right there.
Fuck yeah.
It was every fucking drill instructor was a combat hardened veteran.
Dude, our guys had just gotten back from like OF1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Like, but there was like good lessons. We've talked about it before. I remember like I'd never swam, didn't know how to swim.
Damn.
And I never shot a rifle until boot camp.
That's probably why you become such a fucking good shot.
Dude, one of the best.
Because you
like,
learn from the best.
So that's the thing. Is like we've talked about this on the podcast before. I remember like we you know, you do dry fire for like a week, right?
Yeah.
Positions,
Snap-ins, yeah.
shooting in. Cool. We get to the live fire the next week or whatever. And I'm sitting on that ammo can. I'm getting ready to hit the range for the first time. It's my relay. I'm up.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting on the can a little nervous, and drill instructor Sergeant Graham comes up, one of our kill hats. He's like, Grimes, what the fuck's wrong with you? I'm trying to speak in third person, how they make you. But you know, at the range, they're a little bit nicer to you.
They are. Coaches are a little bit nicer.
Because they don't want you. Well, no,
they got rifles and shit.
He was one of my primaries.
Oh, he was your actual.
He was one of my primaries, but he was also on the line helping because he was an expert. And,
gotcha.
And he's like, but they're nicer because you got live rounds.
Right.
So they're like, they don't want you killing anybody. He's like, hey, shut the fuck up. Just talk to me. Because I couldn't figure out how to talk in third person.
This recruit.
Sometimes he just fuck it up.
Yeah,
right? Sometimes he just fuck it up. And I was like, I've never shot before. He goes, what's the fucking problem? And I was like, well, a lot of these guys, like, they grew up hunting with their dads, whatever. He knelt down, dude. He took a knee for like 10 seconds. And he's like, listen, Grimes, you don't have any bad habits. Do what I say, how I say, to the best of your ability. You're going to fucking crush. And then he goes, I fucking love guys like you. And he just walks off.
Yep.
Dude, fucking paradigm shift of like all of a sudden I had the advantage. And then within 5 minutes, you're watching these fucking country boys, per se.
Yeah.
That grew up Kentucky winning.
Oh, that's me, man. I shot rifles and shotguns growing up. And it was
but some of those guys were not good. They had to unlearn some shit for precision shooting.
Same.
I didn't. The only way I knew was how I was being taught. And I had the pride to really want to be fucking good at it. And so all I did was put my effort into it. I ended up being, you know, high shooter out of the entire battalion in boot camp. And I was never not high shooter, dude. Like the high shooter as police, distinguished shooter there. Like,
sick.
I do all right shooting fucking guns, right?
That's what you're known for.
But it all came from never though. So like it was such a great lesson on self-belief, how hard you can actually try at something when you commit, and then the people you're putting around you to influence that experience, right? Like circles in business or whatever it is, like one of the best fucking lessons I've ever had in my entire life. It was incredible, right?
Absolutely.
Mixed with like the fuckery.
Boot camp's a blast.
Dude, you remember you got any crazy stories or funny stories from boot camp?
I got fucking crazy stories.
Dude,
Yeah,
I know everyone loves sharing their fucking war stories.
Everybody
Don't get me
loves,
wrong.
but boot camp stories are still funny.
Dude, they're fucking awesome. What's one of your go?
Dude, we're like at fucking the first week of boot camp, you know, and they're just thrashing you all week and stuff. And we're going in and out of our freaking squad bay with foot lockers. I'm on the first floor. I'm walking in and out. A drill instructor, so you can't do anything right. Our whole fucking platoon's going in and out, in and out.
Yeah.
And we're outside about to come back in, and everybody's getting thrashed. Everybody on all the other platoons too.
Correct.
And so I look up and I'm carrying my foot locker about to go back in. I'm getting yelled at by my drill instructor. And I look up and this fucking guy just nosedives out of the third deck and tries to kill himself, jumps out of the fucking window,
oh my God.
lands like 10 feet away from me on the ground. And like, he's fine. He's all right. I mean, he's as all right as he's going to be. And I remember my drill instructor looking over at me and he's like, good. I hope he fucking dies. You fucking guys need to fucking give out. He's getting at us. And I was like, oh, fuck, we're dead, dude. They don't give a shit if we're dying.
They don't give a fuck.
They don't give a fuck.
They don't
and
give
he was
a
like,
fuck,
and he calls
dude.
like Corman up, and then we just fucking go inside. We had to like face the other wall and shit, and they got him out of there.
If he dies, we'll eat him for
We
dinner.
don't give a shit. And I was like, oh
Damn.
man,
Dude,
this is real.
I remember evening BDR when you're
yeah.
online. In
Yeah.
your little fucking
Oh,
towels.
yeah.
Dude, I remember like,
Snap, pop.
oh, dude, we were doing so good this fucking week. Seniors coming back, which is like your daddy.
Okay.
He's like the most senior drill instructor.
It's
for
a whole
your,
game, dude. They play.
The whole fucking game. You got like 3 to 4 drill instructors. Your most senior drill instructor is like daddy's nice
Okay.
to you. He only works. He only has to stay the night every couple of nights. The other kill hats, they're there to. They don't like you.
Sure.
They're admired for how many people they can make quit. You remember Staff Sergeant Nichols
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
pod?
oh, yeah.
We had a drill instructor from
Nice.
04 on
Good.
who was a part of like some of the famous shit. And like they pride themselves on how many guys they can get. And I
trying to
like
just
that about the Marine
punish
Corps.
them. I love that too.
Like drill instructor's mission is to like, dude, we're gonna coach you to win or coach you to quit.
That's right.
Like Gavin would say, right? Like, but at an extreme level. Like, not only are we gonna coach you to win and coach you to quit, we're also gonna like throw some shit in there to try to get you to fucking quit, right? But it's needed when you're training people for war.
100%.
Just right? Like I remember eating BDR, dude. Our fucking scribe, this fucking nerd, dude. We're on there, and he's like, everyone's doing their snap pop. We get fucking through it, dude. Nobody fucks, and it's weird because nobody fucked it up.
Yeah.
Which means like something's about to go down, right? And like our scribe, he's at the front, and he's in his little green towel. Dude, they barely wrap around your waist. They're like fucking skimpy little slutty fucking towels, and you're naked, okay? Because in evening BDR, Eli, is like, they check you for warts and ringworm, hygiene inspection, right? Okay. So like they're looking at your fingernails in your hands. So you're still in your towel and your flip-flops.
Yep.
And our fucking scribe who like writes shit in boot camp, okay? Motherfucker, right? He grabs his dick and he's just fucking...
He's got a piss.
And he's just fucking... and you're like, no. And like, no. Dude, everybody's online. You can't fucking move.
Oh, no.
So everybody's like, hey, let go of your dick, dude. And he's like, I gotta pee. And then he finally fucking lets go of it.
He's gonna piss all over,
just
bro.
Fucking as seniors like starting to walk over, like he's talking with the other drone instructors, and he just starts to fucking pee.
Oh no!
Right there, and he's the first dude in front of the squad bay. Dude,
that's the best, bro.
But here's where like you just knew it was bad.
Yep.
Cause senior's like mad. He's like getting ready to get fucking amped up, and our other 3 kill hats, they see it. And they just start laughing from the most evil. We finally get a fuck you motherfuckers up.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like we haven't given it to you yet.
Yeah.
We kind of Black Friday, okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
But we've been here for a minute. Like you guys finally fucked up bad enough where our senior drone instructor is going to let us.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to let us loose. Senior fucking lets loose for a minute and fucking lectures for like 30 seconds. Right?
Yeah.
And then he just fucking cuts the kill hats loose. Right? Like whatever he says, kill him or get him or whatever. But he, in his own words, pretty much was like, he took the leash off.
No holds bar.
Yeah.
Dude, I've never seen so much water. The first thing we did was get water IT'd.
Nice.
Did you ever get that?
Hey, everybody has to drink so much fucking water.
They're like, oh, you guys are
Because they want to make everybody else piss.
So you're getting fucking work tonight.
Okay.
So they're like, grab your canteen. Better run to the bathroom, fill up 1 liter of canteen, drink it, and they're counting down. You have to run back online in front of your rack, in front of your bed.
Everything's
They're counting down as you're drinking it, and then you have to hold it upside down to prove you fucking drank it. Dude, we get 2.5, almost 3 liters in.
Oh.
Everyone yaks, and dude, this is evening BDR, bro.
So
we got fucking
all
food.
Night too.
Yeah, but you got food and shit. In
Oh
your
yeah,
bed.
you're chill,
buddy. Just fucking water, puke. Fuck, I swear to God, the fucking bunks were just like floating in a
fucking
lake
crazy,
of
bro.
fucking puke, dude. Then you gotta like that. Oh, dude, you gotta clean all that shit up. Then they throw you. It was fucking
That's awesome.
Unreal. However, they love you.
Yeah.
From such a painful place. Like they love you so much, they're gonna fuck you up. So like like the one thing that like the Marine Corps prides itself on, at least from our generation. And like when Jocko talks about these Marines, like you're not going to get Marines uncomfortable living in conditions that they're not already suitable for. You're not. Like they're fucking just made for war. They're going to go live in the shittiest conditions and they're going to be laughing and jacking each other off while they're fucking living like that. Like
that's right.
You're just not going to fuck, like that's not going to be a fucking element.
That's cool.
And what I loved about boot camp, dude, was like probably the same for you. Because we're maybe a year apart when I went to a new
same
right?
time. Yeah.
Is at night, when they played taps,
yeah,
one of our drone instructors, Sergeant Graham, would come out. He would tell a fucking story from one of his deployments, or maybe maybe that was his only deployment. I don't know.
Sick
at that point, but he'd like tell like a cool story or just something that like a fucking badass Marine did. And what was crazy is we weren't hearing from a guy. No disrespect, but we weren't hearing from a World War I or World War II story. We're hearing about shit happening right fucking now.
Yeah, the guy that was there a year ago.
So he was reading Marine Corps time shit from shit that was happening right then.
Oh, fucking kicking off.
To Marines that were badass during his deployment.
Yeah.
And he would tell a story right before fucking taps. Taps is like you played at night.
Yeah.
Bedtime, like done, right?
Yep.
And you felt like, at least for me, I felt so proud, like, I'm going to be a part of this. Like,
that's so cool.
Super pride. 100%.
And then you just fucking pass out.
Yeah.
But the dichotomy between like just getting fucked up, dude.
They love you, man.
Dude, it wasn't like Stalin that was like pulling fucking feathers out of a chicken, but then he'd also feed the chicken.
That's fucked up. That's how it feels.
Marine Corps boot camp.
Yeah, it is Marine Corps boot
but
camp.
so you decided you joined the Marine Corps.
Yep.
Family member or family friend talks you into it.
Yeah,
Good
family
idea.
friend. Yep.
You decided to go. You own 06. What was the Marine Corps? What was Marine Corps like? What was your biggest lesson?
It was the best fucking thing for me because, like I said, I was where I was headed. You know, it's exactly what I needed, and I went from being a black sheep where I was to, like you just mentioned, feeling like, oh, this is what we do, like fighting, drinking, freaking doing the shit I was already doing, but it's like harnessed in a little bit, right?
You're like, oh, I just got to come legal.
It was like, yeah, it's exactly how it was. It was like, this is
shit.
bad over here, but when you come into here, this is perfect. Just do it between
If you beat up a civilian, you're in trouble. But if you
fist fight a Marine, you're together. Fuck it.
or terrorists.
Fucking yeah, exactly. It's harnessed energy, man. It's awesome.
good.
So I was like, this is amazing. Like that's where I needed to be. That's exactly what I needed.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What were your big lessons? Like you ended up doing 4 years, 8 years?
4 years in the Marine Corps. Went to Iraq
cool.
in 07, 08. I went to Africa on a little deployment. Joint operation.
Very cool.
That's pretty much it. Got in and out.
And then get out. And then as you leave the Marine Corps, what did you decide to do? What was
I
your
went
thing?
right back to labor, man. I went right to construction work for my
shit.
dad. Yeah, that's
So
all I
was
really
it-
had. I never really had a job.
So what made you get out?
work,
Like I remember
family.
for me, like I did some government work after the Marine Corps, but then I kind of did want to come home. I did want to come home, and I wasn't sure what I was gonna do. I had a skill set, so I was like, well, I'll apply to be a cop. I didn't really know if like being a cop was me. I like helping people. I like serving. There were some things I liked about it, some things I didn't like about it. But I didn't really know anything else. But I did know, like, man, it was probably like time to come home after a bit. Like, was it similar for you? Like, kind of want to come home, but
Man, I loved doing the thing, right? I loved playing. I loved going to Iraq and doing the
But
thing.
you never thought you were
when
gonna be a
you're-
career guy, right?
No,
Me
I
either.
didn't either. I mean, not really. And probably, I honestly, after I got in, I thought less so about it. Because there's a lot of bureaucracy.
You love it.
I mean, I was an anti-authority guy growing up, like full of piss and vinegar. And then the Marine Corps, I liked that where I was. I needed it, but the authority like kept going and going. So the worst part about it that I figured out pretty early on is that
Picking up
just
rank.
because that they have a higher rank doesn't mean they're qualified to give you the information, right?
Uh-oh.
And so you're like, fuck, you just joined 3 years older than me because you're 3 years older than me. Now you're a sergeant or a staff sergeant.
Yeah.
And you don't know your fucking asshole from your elbow when it comes to street smarts or making a calculated decision in the field. But you're sitting here undressing me, fucking yelling at me for
Buddy.
not wearing my hat right. I'm like, I got to do something different.
You know what's great about you kids, you fucking kids, is I literally built my squad off of guys like you.
No, I was fucking. If I would have found a leader that could have supported that, I would have loved it.
Yeah.
I'd have loved it.
And fast and
That's where I should have gone. I should have gone to a next level like type
That's
deal.
great.
But I was like, my mind was already
either way, like you had guys that were like super fit, super proficient, lance corporals or corporals, like, and if they had leadership that they disagreed with, that weren't, and they just couldn't bite their fucking lip, and then get in trouble.
Yeah.
Literally, dude, my squad was called Dirty Third.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was like all the fucking dudes that like
That'd have been me.
call them degenerates if you want. They weren't.
Yeah.
They just like they didn't like a fucking overweight sergeant or somebody just wasn't tactically proficient. They felt like they were smarter.
Yep.
They couldn't take authority. And then when that sergeant tried to like show their authority to them, they'd get in a fucking fight.
I know.
But because that guy's a higher rank, it's like it's muddy water.
Yeah.
But thank goodness we had leadership that didn't just want to NJP dudes. So it was
That's what I had. I had a lot of that.
yeah, dude. So we had good leadership there, but it was like, hey, give him the Grimes.
Yeah.
And
I
then
would have loved that.
Dude, I
needed that.
I get a call from fucking first sergeant. Literally happened like 3 or 4 fucking times. Hey, Grimes, come holler at me in the office after formation. Yeah, good to go, first sergeant. I come in, he like, hey, we're gonna give you De La Cruz. And you're like, yeah, cool. Like, are you familiar? Like, a little bit. Like, yeah, first squad. Like, yeah, here's, like, yeah, like, or I get some from a different platoon. Like, but literally, man, like, I just had a bunch of fucking pit bulls, bro. And
That's
it's like,
what's needed,
but I was fit. I was tactically proficient. Like, I just naturally, you guys could probably tell just the more people get to know me, I'm a Care Bear. I'll fuck you up.
Yeah, but you really cared about it.
It's also the last thing I want to do, though. Like, I never got my fucking dick off being a bully or
Exactly.
like, dude, if I gotta fuck you up, I'm gonna do it because I'm good at it. But that's not the tool I want to use. That's not who like if you make me fucking to a point where I have to, and you earned it, you're gonna get it. I just hated being that guy.
Same.
And then my guys is like, if I could just get my squad to shut the fuck up, in formation or when we're out in the fucking field. If I could just get, once they shut the fuck up about some other, right? Because dude, we would be crushing.
Yeah.
A different squad would fuck something up, and they didn't understand the diplomatic side of like, hey man, I got it. Sergeants are gonna go talk with sergeants. We're gonna go talk with our platoon commander, and it gets figured out back there without calling anybody out in the open.
That's the way it should be done.
Something would be getting fucked up in the moment. They'd want to fucking. It's like, hey, you're right. But that's not how we do this.
No.
Especially in fucking training. Like, good initiative, bad judgment, whole thing. Remember that phrase?
100%.
Yeah, but I literally built an amazing squad.
You had the best.
They were fucking awesome. They were like Marines. Yeah.
Yep. Love it.
Most of them were tougher than me, dude.
Yeah. I mean, they're good people.
Dude, they were fucking.
Just needed some guidance, need some different kind of love.
I think I listened to them well. And I think they knew, like, I respected them. I wanted them. They didn't feel like fucking rejects with me. But like, dude, like minus being the best shooter, like there were guys that were better physical, like PFT, CFT. Like, dude, some of these guys were just, you're not gonna beat them. They're fucking good.
It's dogs, baby.
The only thing I ever like pull a fucking coin out is like, listen, dude, you've never met a more straight shot. Ever. Outside of that, dude, they were good. Like fucking like jujitsu and
the
shit.
Inglorious Bastards, dude.
Yeah, dude, but just make maps. Some of those guys are fucking
gangsters, dude.
Dude, I remember like some of my subordinates, like I literally,
those are the best Marines.
De La Cruz was one of them. I remember like grappling with that fool, and I was bigger than him. He was so good, dude. I remember literally like being on the ground, kicking him in the fucking nuts, bro.
He's not
and just like him fucking rolling over in the fucking shredded tire pit, right? Like fucking laughing and crying at the same time. It's like, listen, dude. You're not gonna fucking beat me, Brian. Like, but you're fucking good, dude.
He's
you're
damn
fucking
good.
He's gonna beat me. But it's like, I got this one coin of like, hey, we're training for war, dog. I'll fucking bite your dick off. You better be fucking ready to go. Like, and because I'm their squad leader, he can't necessarily like kick me back. And like there was love there, like, but just dude, rock solid fucking guys. But like a great team, and we did a lot of really cool stuff because of their proficiencies and just me like being able to lead them, not necessarily outperform them, lead them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's interesting, like when you get into business and different stuff and like where that skill set of like not getting insecure with like an Eli. This dude is so smart. Everything we've ever built, he's built. Right? Like, no fucking way I'd be in business without the guy.
No brainer.
No insecurity at all. I try to promote and push his skill set as much as I can. But like depending on like the experiences that you have or like where your ego comes from, it's like, are you able to do that as a leader? You know what I mean? Like it's such a an interesting topic, but like so you go back home.
I think a lot of those guys are intimidated though. Like the guys that were
they
were intimidated.
You have to be the end all be all, and you have to have the answer for everything because that validates
them.
That validates your value.
Exactly right.
And it's like, no, that's not true at all.
No, the guy that's not intimidated will literally be a better leader. He will, like you said. He'll be like, oh man, I don't know everything. What are we gonna do here? He'll work together as a cohesive team. That's what you need.
I learned this from we had this one sergeant. He kind of looked like I'll pull him up for you if you guys are watching. Maybe you can see it. Some people like know the guy, some people don't. Are you familiar with JB Mooney?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Oh, dude, people like that are hard as fucking nails. Those Marines. I knew guys that could burn Marlboro Reds and freaking outrun me in the PFT.
So JB Mooney's like great bull rider, one of my favorite dudes. My son's
there's dudes just like JB Mooney in the Marine Corps, 100%.
And they're skinny motherfuckers.
They're skinny
too,
as
bro.
fuck, and they got fat ass wives always.
Bro,
they always do. You know it's true.
But JB, if you guys don't fucking, he's got so many like videos up. But if people know like JB Mooney, it's JB Mooney. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
JB Mooney.
Okay.
We had this fucking
bull
sergeant. Dude, we had two sergeants. One went fast. I remember our staff sergeant. He was getting out. Everybody was bummed to see him leave. And our staff sergeant was like, listen, as much as we're bummed to see him go, if good Marines don't get out of the Marine Corps, nobody will know how good the Marine Corps is.
Oh, damn.
Like, good guys leaving, it still continues the message of the Marine Corps, right? And then we had another guy with 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines. And he was like skinny, and he was like the senior sergeant. He was the guy that was like, how are you not a gunny? He was like that old looking sergeant.
Got fucking hashtags
and just
been knocked down.
No fucking desire to be higher rank, but just a great sergeant. I don't ever remember him doing PT. Maybe. I just remember him, all the sergeants would conglomerate around him, like his fucking disciples. Yeah. And I was too young at the time to really understand like his entire history. And he was getting out. Because when I was going to that battalion, I think we had like a 60% changeover at that point. Like so many guys were just getting out.
It was a big turnover.
Or just going to a different
Well,
unit.
they were, what time, when year was that? At 12 when you were getting
No,
out?
like back with 3-1, that was like.
And 10 when I got out,
07.
they were pushing people out.
Okay, so yeah.
Like
so that's,
tattoos, whatever. It was like
no,
all
no,
the
this
waivers
was
got
just,
shut off.
This was just ironic. Like a lot of guys had came into 3rd Battalion 1st Marines.
His time was up.
Every 2 to 4 years, you're going to have just a cycle, right?
True.
So they were getting a lot of new guys into 3-1. Guys were leaving, and but he was just like that senior sergeant, man. And he had those Marlboro Reds, skinny fuck. You could just tell, like you're the Marine my fucking dad told me about.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
like just fucking cool. And like I don't know where I was going with that, but where was I? What'd you say before?
Oh, it's fucking
Where was I going with that?
people are just hard as nails.
Yeah. What you were moving into what he did afterward, but
But what'd you say right before that?
Something I remember, bro.
Yeah, but just like anywho, just fucking guys you look up to that like that just do well.
It's just, but essentially, I was saying, you know, that's the kind of leader that we needed. We needed the fucking guy, and you were saying that you had a platoon made of fucking dudes that do all sorts of
100%.
shit.
It was like right before you mentioned that when I was mentioning you going back home, you mentioned something.
Oh no.
Yeah. Either way, just badass dudes you look up to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It'll refresh my memory
There you go.
somehow. Yeah.
So I get out, right? I go back to construction. I mean, essentially, I just run right back into labor. That's all I knew.
Like
I didn't have a
residential.
job. Yeah, no. So
remodels?
I've done everything. So my dad owns a concrete company, but he used to build before
So
too.
what made you want to go back home? Like you get out after 4, like, and I was
all
telling
I
you
knew.
like I didn't mind the Marine Corps. I just never
Yeah.
thought I would say like, you know, forever or anything like that. Like, but for you, it was like going home was like, hey, I don't know what I want to do yet, but I want to get out. And
Yeah.
a lot of us share that. Like, hey, we're done with the Marine Corps. We're not quite sure what we want to do, but we know we're done here. Let me go home.
It's just the place you
Like
go.
your
right?
next
You got
little
nothing
forward
to your
operating
name
base,
and
right?
shit. Especially
100%.
I got out at I was 21, 22 years old. So
Yeah.
you got shit to my name.
Yeah.
You know, I'd saved my money in deployment and stuff, and you know, but essentially, I went back to construction, and I learned to weld already. I grew up, and my grandfather owned an excavation company. My dad was built homes and did concrete work. Like I grew up in the construction field. Everybody in the Hancock side of the family has owned some construction company.
Yeah, don't
or
you
knows
guys
it.
own like tires or something?
Yeah, apparently Hancock tires,
Yeah,
bro. That'd be
right.
nice. That'd be a different life.
Yeah, no
different
kidding.
world.
No kidding.
I don't think I'd have taught me to weld and stuff.
No
Oh
kidding.
shit, that's proper.
Yeah,
folk.
so I started running skid steers, low boys, equipment like that, taking a little bit bigger of a role, but still only getting paid $15 an hour by my dad, which was all right at the time, but
Yeah,
there
for
was
real.
no real future or raise in my horizon.
But at some point, you get into building luxury homes.
Yeah, dude. So guy at the
Developing.
gym, I had 2 mentors kind of at the gym that were entrepreneurs, meatheads, and I had asked them originally, how the fuck to get bigger when I was 17 before I deployed. They're still there working out when I got back out of the Marine Corps, and
Yeah.
I was like, what's up? And started talking to them, hanging out with them, working out with them. They're about, I would say, 8 to 10 years older than me. They're kind of my first mentors.
Yeah.
Like literally the people that pushed me off in entrepreneurship. Like these guys were great, 2 of them. Both got GEDs, both dropped out of high school, both went to entrepreneurship right after that.
Wow.
And so they became successful earlier because they just fucking forged their way.
Yep.
And so one owned a landscape company, the other one was in real estate. He owned a brokerage and did real estate investing, did short sales. I didn't know what the fuck anything about that. I understood landscaping.
Yeah.
But they were like, dude, you should start your own company. You should build. Because I was just bitching and bitching and bitching. And he's like, dude. And I got real scared. I was like, well, what if all these things, all this stuff. And he's like, dude, you just got back from Iraq how long ago? Like he looked at me like I was a fucking idiot. And I was like, yeah, so what? He's like, you could have died. Like, what if that? He's like, really, play it out. What's the worst case scenario? And I was like, I move in with my parents. I mean, I was living with my parents then, but I had bought a house. I ended up buying a house, still working for my dad and shit. He's like, so worst case scenario, you move back in with your parents. Like
So
you have
you
nothing.
had just
Yeah,
enough
interesting.
success to get comfortable,
to scared to
and
lose
then
it.
to fear about
Yeah.
fear about losing it, right?
Fuck yeah, 100%.
fuck yeah.
And I had a truck payment. Now I have a house payment with a roommate. And I'm like, ugh. And I'm working for my dad.
And dude,
it's
like in
getting-
Oklahoma, you got a big old truck. Girls are
That's
looking at
right,
you.
dude. That's where I'm on the prowl,
You
bro.
just fucking, you already got a couple tattoos. You fucking
100%,
killed a guy
dude.
before, and you
The
dodged
stories
that.
were great.
Now you got these
Fuck
dress
yeah.
blues and a
That's
fucking
me, dude.
F-250. Like, how
That's
the
right.
fuck am I gonna give this up?
Yeah,
dude?
exactly. I'm going to lose all this and look like an idiot.
Yeah.
He's like, no, just fucking do it. And so I doubled down. I went down to my dad. I was like, dude, I'm going to quit. I'm going to start building. He's like, I tell you what, I'll help you out on your first houses, get started. Because he built before. He stopped. He just did concrete work because his concrete company did better. And what he did is he does like walls, like basements. My dad puts in basements.
Yeah.
And so anyways, he was like, I'll help you with your first deal. And you can work for me still. And you can go check your jobs after. and the weekends and stuff like that, and we'll work together on it besides somebody else partnering with you or you going on your own.
So he's like, hey, he trusts himself. He at least got you started.
Yeah, he wasn't. I don't think my dad's gonna be the guy that was like, hey, you should go start your own business. Really drive me to be an entrepreneur. But he was supportive of it. I think he admired it. I'm glad that he let me find that on my own.
Yeah.
I was a buddy that told me, right? Pushed me off into it. Boom. I built my first house, ground up, custom home, because I had done everything. I literally trimmed, I'd framed, I'd fucking poured concrete, I tied rebar, I'd done skid steer work, I'd done everything. Like I know all of the ins and outs of building a home. And so I did that, and then I built that bastard as a spec house. That's all I knew, and I got a loan. I sold it. I made $45,000. That was more than I was going to make an entire year working for my dad, even with overtime. And I was like, holy shit.
Damn.
This is what it's about. This is the best. And so
nothing could ever go wrong.
Nothing could ever go wrong.
Yeah.
You know what?
Ever, dude.
Why didn't I build 1,000 of these?
Yeah. Having that first win though is so important,
It's
dude.
super important.
Like
man.
just that
learn
whole,
a lot
it's
and
possible.
win. That's it.
Yeah.
You remember that reel where that guy's on the phone with his buddy? He's like, I got the new Fortnite, my nachos. Like, I just started dating this girl. He's like,
Yeah.
Bro,
Life can't go bad.
Dude, I gotta find it because he's like 11.
Yeah.
And his dad's like recording him, and he's like, "I just got the new Fortnite game.
Yeah.
I'm making nachos. Oh, I
Pizza
got
rolls.
I got a girlfriend."
He's
He's
on
like,
cloud 9, bro.
pimping, dude. And
Yeah.
it's like, fuck
That's how
yeah.
I
Like,
felt.
I felt like we always chase
Yeah.
it, right?
100%. Yeah.
So that's like your day $1.0, right? Like,
That
hey,
was
I'm gonna
it.
venture off. Dad helps me out a bit. Like,
Yeah.
how long did you do that for? What were the ups and downs? What were the big lessons from that?
So I mean, I sold that one. I started building another one. I didn't make as much money on that one. Set on the market a little longer, and I'm still working for my dad. I mean, I had to have a day job, right?
Oh, okay. So you're
I
doing that
kept the
stuff.
job.
You're
I didn't quit.
That's what he meant
Yeah.
by checking your jobs. And
Yeah, I would go
work
check the job on the
weekends.
weekends, and essentially, I was working for him. I'd do all the stuff, and then I would go fucking check the jobs, or if I could, or if I was
Got it.
working in town for him, sometimes I'd work out of town. But if I was working in town, I could go buy lunch.
Yeah.
I was still getting my shit done. And I started building another one, and essentially, that's set on the market. I'm like, oh, this fucking sucks. I'm having to make this payment.
Yeah.
What's going on? What's going to happen? And then I ended up making I think 20-ish on that one, but I noticed the big difference. I caught on before getting smacked in the mouth.
Yeah.
And then I bought a lot, and then somebody came to me and was like, hey, we're going to build a custom on it. I want my dad to build on it. So I marked it up $20,000, sold the lot, extra $20,000. And so I had 3 pretty decent wins. But throughout that process, while those houses were on the market, I was building these houses with basements in them because my dad owned the concrete company. I had him put the foundation in. That would have been fucked up if I didn't. So I had him put the foundation, his company. Yeah. And so people would be like, hey, can you build this one for me over on my lot and blah, blah, blah. Can you build this on my land over here in North
basements were
Edmond?
unique. You were doing something a little bit different.
Exactly. And so what ended up happening is I got some customs from it. So custom homes. And so for those that are watching, a custom home, in my example, is doing one for somebody. I don't carry the loan. They carry the loan, and it's basically a cost plus job. And so it's a more secure way for me to make the cash flow and kind of make the leap out of being a construction guy.
Yeah.
Now I can get a couple customs, and I'm getting paid by these customs per month because I'm getting a cost plus job.
The only hard part there is like just managing that book, right? Of the money.
The books I wasn't so scared of.
It was the people.
It's the people.
They want to make a change, or what's this, or they're coming by the fucking. They're
You're
coming
working.
by the site every
I've
day.
never worked more in my life from that point on, and I mean even after the Marines, like the Marines was fucking easy compared to this in a different capacity, right?
Yeah.
Like business, and we don't talk about this enough. Like the military is awesome, but like entrepreneurship, you get hit in the face 10 times more, and like it was miserable. I mean, I'm glad I did it right. It wasn't. I shouldn't say it was miserable. There's great things that came from it. I made great money. I started building up my repertoire.
What's the hard part of like? So you're doing luxury.
Customs is like the expectations.
Someone gets
man.
a construction loan, so like
They're
everyone
carrying
that-
their loan.
you're their boss. Or
Yeah,
excuse me,
they're my boss.
They're your boss.
Yeah.
I switched from having a job.
They
for
buy the
family,
lot.
and
They
then
bought the lot. They get the construction loan, and then they're hiring you
to contract it.
to build the fucking house, which means
100%.
like, hey, you got your plans, and hey, you'll get your architect or whatever. But like,
Yep.
they're your. Here's what. But let me just elaborate a little bit. Imagine having a boss that's paying you their own money that they have to pay back over 30 years. And they're in charge of you over something that they have no idea
or experience
how to
doing.
fucking do.
Correct.
Yep,
You
yep.
nailed it on that one.
And then add the emotional side into they have to live in it.
and this is something people don't talk about
Their
enough.
marriage.
They have to see the mistakes throughout the process. When you buy a spec home, you don't know that this got fixed or that fucked up.
Yep.
When you come and check the job every single weekend or every time you get off work, they see the problem and then they see it get fixed, and they can never unsee that casing moved.
And things get fucked up like they just do.
This is the deal. It's not a product from freaking Apple.
Yeah.
It's from freaking. It's assembled by thousands of people, bro.
And by the way, if all of us saw our phone get made from lithium from the ground with little pygmy
no
kids
kidding, yeah.
putting it on
We
their
probably
fucking
wouldn't be
head.
buying them, bro.
No, dude, we'd probably vomit at what people around the world have to fucking do.
But they don't
right?
have to, right? You just buy it. It's over. It's transactional.
This is a spec phone.
Yeah, it's a spec phone.
It's
Exactly.
already fucking made. Do you want to buy it or not? Like spec homes are, like you buy the land.
Yep.
You've got the money out on the loan. You build your own shit. You own the land plus the house. You sell it. You have a bigger margin.
Yep.
No one's babysitting
Your
you.
margin's based on the time, essentially, depending on how much
100%.
money. Yeah.
But when you own the land,
But nobody's
on top of the
fucking
house,
with
you're gonna
you.
make. But
Right.
nobody's
Yep.
fucking with you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Damn.
Exactly.
Any like crazy stories like
But you
people getting
need
divorced?
I got some fucking crazy stories, yeah. But you need
You
that
weren't
customs
sleeping
as well.
with the wife of
No,
the house.
I was
right?
not. I was getting
We've
married,
heard
having
some of
my own
that
family.
shit. It's like,
dude, I
fuck.
know in the past, like some of the trades would fuck the wife, bro.
That's
buddy.
crazy, dude.
Don't
That's
shit.
crazy.
Listen, if you guys
Yes.
listen, I'm not even
I'm
being
like, you got to stop, dude.
Don't shit where you eat.
Yeah, because
Just
they get all close, right? The trim carpenter and the fucking designer, and then you got the housewife that comes over there. Her husband's off working,
Bro.
Yeah, but then they want you doing shit for free too.
They do.
Yeah.
No different than like the personal training fitness world.
Yeah.
No, they want a lot of shit for free.
Dude, you start like Eli comes from the fitness world, right? Super good looking dude. Look at him, right? Like,
Look at this debonair guy.
Look at this fucking guy. You start sleeping with your client. They'll
dude.
never
do it.
pay for another package ever
Hell
again. Dude. Like you just can't
Can't
fucking
do
do
it.
it. No.
No.
Yeah.
Can't shit where you
Or they
eat.
do, but just you have the awkward conversation of like, so that 30 pack's due, like,
Hey,
yeah.
hey, are you staying the night? I don't know. You buying that fucking 30 pack?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Side
No?
note, not from personal experience. Yeah.
No, of course not. No. So luxury homes.
Yep.
You decided to
I
graduate from that, or how
I kept going, so I just got more and more. The houses got bigger and bigger, and then I built a brand around it. I built a reputation around it. The customs were nice because they started to go up to $700 to $1 million+ houses. You know,
Yeah.
I started to do parade homes, so agents were freaking marketing them. I was in magazines and shit. I got on the board of directors for Central Oklahoma Home Builders Association, one of the youngest members.
Yeah, cool.
And I was pushing pretty hard on it. I mean, I was all in.
How long at that point
This
were
is
you?
like,
were
I
doing
built
it?
for like 8 to 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
And so it was, slowly going up and
Yeah.
having kids, getting married, doing the whole 9 yards,
Yeah,
building my own house. I fucking built 3 of my own homes, build it, living there 2 years, sell it. So I'm making good money on that.
Yeah.
And I realized though, like throughout the I'm listening to Rich Dad Poor Dad though. The longer I get along, the more I start to educate myself, and there's some shit I don't know.
So like as far along as you are, and everyone recognizing that, you're seeing all the potential to like just different things you can do.
Well, what happened was like this. Like I noticed something pretty common with builders, especially with not all, right? There's so many different in-depths of builders, but you just don't know from the outside looking in. You got the builder with a nice truck. He's got the brand new F-250 Platinum. He lives in the brand new house because he's a builder. Built it at cost. He's in the new neighborhood. He jumps house to house for the next 2-5 years.
Yeah.
And you don't know outside looking in. He's on the magazine. He's on the poster. He's got these things going on. And a lot of times, they're robbing Peter to pay Paul. They got all these things going on. They have customs barely floating their expenses. Like, so you're making money. You may be making good bread, but it's rolling fast. The cash flow is not really, you're not netting a lot because let's just give you an example. You charge 15%, cost plus 15% on $1 million house, $150,000, but you still have all of your expenses out of that 15%.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like I made the 150 and then all the bills were paid too. No, I only made $150,000.
And you got to roll everything back in.
The time that is dedicated to that project is crazy.
So if one takes,
So how do you expand and scale?
if one takes longer to sell, like that?
Well, when you're doing
money's
it for
being held.
customs,
Yeah.
it's like it's already sold. So it's pre-sold, but you're wrapped up. And so what I recognized at that point, or what I thought, it was like, I'm gonna go build some specs. They're gonna make me big fat rips, $250,000 a piece, parade homes. I'm gonna do it. I got the clout now. I got the ability to get the lots. I can get in these neighborhoods that other people can't get in. It's gonna be sweet. And so I go and do it. I get to convince the banks to give me the loans. I go and get 2 of them. One I partnered with somebody because I was a little bit hesitant to get both of them.
Yeah.
The other one I did all on my own. I'm still living in a house. I'm 30 years old. I got a 3,500 square foot house in a gated community, brand new Escalade, like balling out, I'm builder balling out.
Escalade.
It's
Never heard of one of
good,
those.
Yeah, you got 2.
We're in the parking lot. You see those
You got the
26s?
ESV. I got the ESV, dog, like the big one,
Yeah.
26s.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm young, I have 2 babies under 4. And my wife's, she quit her job by then, kind of helping with the books and the back end stuff and raising the kids.
Yeah.
And so I go and build these houses. Now, fortunately, I have customs going on, so they're paying the bills. So I'm still, not a lot, but some, but it's just enough.
Yeah.
And these things set on the market. This is 2018. And so 2018 is just real slow.
Yep,
Not
yep.
real great, not real bad,
Sure.
but real slow.
Especially in like a luxury market.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And these are $1 million spec houses, bro,
Yeah.
in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money out there.
It's a lot of money at that time too.
Yeah.
At that time, like now it's even more common because
Yeah,
after
they print
COVID and
money.
shit,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But no, that would be like a freaking $2 million house in Oklahoma now. And so I'm sitting on these things, making interest payments just ticking and ticking. Have my primary residence. Told my wife, I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna put our house for sale. Like we're gonna sell something.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I was just hemorrhaging cash. And learning a real lesson. That's when I started deep diving into like, I got to learn more. I don't know anything about the other side of it. And I listened to Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I'm like, I'm an idiot. All I have is a speculative investment. I gambled it all, you know.
Yeah.
Essentially,
Dude, it's like-
that's all I knew.
it's-
Though I
it's
was a
like-
builder.
Yeah.
But and like you look at it, right? Like think about like fighting, like guys like Eli, big into like jujitsu, guys that like mixed martial arts. It's like you're doing well at a local level, you're whooping dudes' asses. Then you go to like a national level, and you get fucking caught, and you're like, and you didn't quit. Like I have a whole theory
I
on
went hard in
quitting.
the paint, man.
I have a whole theory on like when people like talk about their failures. I'm like 90% of your failures were you quit. You didn't fail, you quit.
100%.
Story for a different day. But
Yeah.
but for the sake of this story, is like you get to those higher level fighters, something you weren't prepared for that caught you.
Yeah.
But now you got something to take back to go be better at.
You
So,
got to
like,
learn.
you get caught, whatever it may be.
Yeah, yeah.
And you pivot.
100%. And so, I mean, I survived it. I was stretching credit cards, you know, barely making payroll, doing the things I had to do. Just like I said, just floating shit. Just
And then
floating.
you're looking at too, because like how much do you think you were taking home, making all those fucking houses and shit? Like at the end of the day, you making a couple $100,000.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So, like,
Before,
good-
and I
good
was
money.
30 years old, you know, 31 years old. Pretty
Yeah,
good.
which is good.
Fucking great.
Yeah.
But it was all going out the door too, especially when I had those in the market.
Yeah.
And so, long story short, I ended up selling one, having to write a check for like 60, 70 grand. You know, it's basically all went to the realtor, to the agent. You know, I was just ready to get off my books, plus just go.
Yep.
And I already paid a couple months, you know, multiple months of freaking interest and shit.
Yeah.
Just get it out of here. Get it off the book. Stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
The other one, I ended up, the first house I sold though, get this, the first house I sold was which one? Of course, the one I fucking lived in.
Yeah.
So I sold mine. I made about 110 grand on that. That helped me still float the storm. I moved into one of the other specs. And then the other one that I was talking about that I had to bring the 60 G's from, thank God I had it just because I sold my house. I brought the 60 G's
That
to.
just sucks though.
Bro, it's like, here it is, goodbye, you know? So I did that. I take that. I fucking pay for this house to be gone to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
And then I'm living in the spec and I'm like, keep it on the market. I'm fucking done. We're going to chill out for a bit. We're going to chill. So I keep it on the market. I finally end up selling that one, making about another 110. So a lot of this money's going out the door though, that's coming in, right?
Yeah.
No more houses on the market. I'm still doing some customs, a couple of them, you know, going along, making some cash flow. But during this time, I'm educating myself. Like, I'm like, there's something wrong here, and it is the knowledge I have. And I grew up with construction, blue collar family, but they're not like business entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
They're like,
So
you
talk to me
do
about
it
that.
yourself.
Yeah.
But talk to me about that, right? Because like I think all of us, especially entrepreneurs that listen to this podcast, when you're like, when something's done, we can look back at it, learn from it, whatever it may be. But like when you're literally in the middle of going through something, how do you have what allows you to like learn and educate yourself on the pivot versus like, oh, let me just go get another, and like, let me just get another house.
Or quit.
No, or like get another house, like build another one, like just leaning into what you already do,
This
ignoring the
didn't feel
problem,
right. I was like,
just trying to get out of it.
this is gonna work. Like,
But you know what I mean, right? A lot of folks
Yeah.
will, like they'll know there's a problem, they'll know they're hemorrhaging or whatever,
and they'll
but
go
like,
get another loan for another house to build to fucking
they'll
pay
just
that
lean
one.
into what they know, so they'll just like ignore the problem and just go do more of what they know, think that like more of that is gonna somehow get rid of the problem versus like, man, I think there's just a different way, or we got to make a different move, like, and then having enough poise to really learn.
Good
while
question,
you're in the
man. I don't
problem.
know. I just I felt it. I was like doing this again.
gotta
The
find a better
pain was
way.
enough.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
the pain was enough to
It's
be
like
like,
that whole theory I talk about. People don't
Whoa.
change until it's too painful not to.
right.
So maybe it's
and,
something
and my
like that.
threshold of pain may be really light, right? Like I think some people would have ran through it harder, but I was like, this is not being a Marine and going through boot camp or doing some hard training. This is business.
I'm glad
this
you
is
say
business.
that, because some things of pain, it is good to go through more. If
Yep.
you're fat,
Go through pain.
speaking to myself, don't get all fucking mad at me. It's like there's going to be pain and discomfort and discipline
That's
and whatever.
different, though.
That's different than like, hey, I don't necessarily like this pain is a no pain.
Yes.
This is a pivot, not a I need to continue to push through.
For sure.
And there's differences. Like there's pain you stay away from. right? And then there's pain where like, nope, I need to keep leaning in and keep
100%.
doing more. And we've had enough of that in business too. We're still learning some of the no-nos and some of the whole leans in.
This is the weird dichotomy with this because, I grew up, just like you, probably never quit, don't quit your sports. You follow through with what you say you're going to do, be the man of your word.
Yeah.
But when it comes to business, you have to realize that there's a mission and there may be a contingency route that you need to play. There may be a pivot in your life, right? If I just would have doubled down on being more of a builder, I would never be where I am today. And so you have to understand the objective. And that's why one of the first things I do when I talk to people about coaching, I'm like, why do you want to be an investor? Why do you want this money? Why do you want all the shit you say you want? Because if you're not clear on that, then you won't really have a path to connect those. And so there was a hard time for me where I was like, am I quitting being a builder because I'm just not good enough or I'm not doing the right thing? Should I have doubled down like Will said?
Yep.
Or am I fucking smart because I realized that I needed to learn new information and I can pivot and start taking this skill set and moving it into investing?
Dude, I felt that and I kind of questioned that and I struggled with that a little bit when I first left the police world.
Yeah, I can see
Because
that.
it wasn't a very encouraging thing when I left. Like,
I believe that.
Dudes were not happy I left. It wasn't just like,
What are you going to go do? Yeah. Well, exactly.
dude.
I can see it, dude.
Dude, and like, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, but that's because you're intimidating them. They don't
But
know
they're
what
going
else
to give you
do.
the impression of like, you're not like,
You're quitting.
dude.
That's what they think. They think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have that on our own, right?
Sure.
Like being Marines, being driven people, anybody that's done sports or jiu-jitsu or anything like that, you kind of give yourself a hard time. Like at night, you're like, am I fucking quitting on this?
Yeah.
Am I giving up? Or am I smart for pivoting? And in business, a lot of times, if you have a clear path of what you're looking for, then you can pivot.
That
And I'd be
plus
better
your-
at that now.
Plus your skill set, plus your leverage points, plus what's possible, like what you're able to do. Like you have to look at every opportunity.
Well, I think this is it. You asked the question earlier, I realized I didn't want to be a builder in the first place. I wanted to be blasted. We talk about this a lot. I want to be tatted. I want to be myself. I live two different personalities. So people that are watching this think about
you got
that.
tattoos?
Yeah, I'm all covered up right now. But like, think about it. I live two different personalities because as a builder, when I started building that brand, I just told you I did show homes and all this shit. And I grew up in Oklahoma, and my mind coming out of the Marine Corps, I had sleeves, but I had to cover them up for meetings. We're doing high-end stuff, designers. I wanted to be taken serious, so I would dress the part.
Well, you leaned into what was familiar. You go home.
100%.
You leaned into like the career with your dad, and listen, dude, a lot of it's good stuff.
It was great.
So
for
you're
sure.
leaning into it, and you're starting to acquire some things that you want.
Yeah.
And then after a certain amount of time, you start remembering to think about. It's not about the stuff that I just want. It's about who I want to be.
Yeah.
Right. Like of all people, right? Like Wes said it the other day on that reel. People want to acquire and possess versus be and become. And it's like, and there's nothing wrong with acquiring and possessing certain things and having things because you want things out of life and et cetera, et cetera. Cool. Like you just have to remember like who you want to be. And like for me turning 40, you kids will get there. When I turned 40, it was like, for me, like maybe some people hit it sooner than others. I don't know. Like I go pretty hard in the paint from a consistent standpoint. Like I don't live the fastest pace. I don't have a business pace of the fastest pace. But since I was 20, I haven't fucking stopped. I don't do vacations and certain things and like other, and I'm not disrespecting those things. I'm just saying the way that I'm fucking built, like if we were to go on a road trip across country, some people are going to drive 160 and then break their shit and they got to sit down for 3 days and let the car get repaired.
Yeah.
Right. Some people are going to fucking, go 45 miles an hour. They're going to get off the path because they want to see the Grand Canyon. And then they want to see the St. Louis Arch, and they're not necessarily going to stay on the quickest path. They're going to get off and venture and sightsee. I'm like your 85, 95 mile an hour guy, but I have vehicles pull up and fill my tank while the car's still fucking moving. So I'm not necessarily driving that fucking fast, breaking my fucking dick off. I just don't stop.
Consistent.
So when you look at the body of work, like we've accomplished a lot of stuff, man, in a short amount of time. And that's just my nature, right?
Sure.
But regardless, it's still like, hey, dude, you just haven't reflected on yourself in a while. Like, you're doing a lot of great things, but are you still remembering who you want to be? And here's where it's been important for me lately. Like, if I want to get more shredded, like I'm a built guy, I'm a strong guy, it's whatever. Like I'm carrying more body fat than I'd like, right? And then for some reason, like that's just been acceptable for a couple of years. Not that I'm unaware of it. I didn't like wake up and go, oh shit, like it came out of fucking nowhere. It's like, no, man, I'm in good shape. I don't have a gut hanging over my fucking belt. Nothing weird, right?
Sure.
But it's been acceptable. And it's like, Well, it's been acceptable because I'm so focused on who I am for everybody else. And I like that. No one's putting that on me. I chose to have kids. I get a lot of gratitude serving others and building and performing. But sometimes when you really get down to the fine, minute, perfecting everything in life, you have to pull from every reason, every resource. And the one resource I haven't been looking at or pulling from is, hey, Will, who do you want to be for you? Like, take all this other work and husband and father and business partner out of it. Who's Will for Will?
100%.
I'll call it recess. That's fun. Call it recess. Still needed. Recess is still needed. And sometimes the only thing that might get you into shape, the only thing that might get you to work harder, the only thing that might get you to have certain disciplines is, because I want to. And dude, it was, believe it or not, it was actually hard for me to allow because I want to be a good enough reason. Not because of anybody. Dude, Eli, my wife, I have nobody pressuring me. Everybody's 1,000% supportive in my life.
Sure.
Naturally, I'm just service. I'm just an outward, external. I get a lot of gratitude, and you probably relate to this. Since I was 20, I've been in a service-based industry, putting my own health, life, whatever, at risk. Military, police, you name it. And then the better you got at that, you got awards.
Sure.
Which just re-solidified that behavior.
Right.
So it's just been a long time since I've even conceptualized, if at all, what do I mean to me?
Well, I think that's something we talked about on the phone, dude, is that
100%.
So many people do that. Whether military or not. Like, I think so many people, they get accolades in this thing. They go to college, they get this degree, or they have this job, and then that becomes who they are.
And you
forget who that other person
and
is. And I was fighting that dichotomy.
Get the fucking neck tattoo. Get the like, as long as it means something for you. You got to know the difference between like you're in a moment and you're being cute.
No, but something that you got to know the difference between a moment versus like a calling that you feel.
I'll tell you this much: guys that are blasted, tatted up, have always been super nice to me and helpful.
Always,
and I feel like I embody that, and I feel like as I've grown and mature, I also want to be one of those guys that you just can't quite put in a box.
Yep.
And sometimes you just forget it. And like Kim and I have just been so, like, dude, we went through this phase, like Eli's starting to work out again. Imagine that. Like, look how great, dude. This is why I fucking don't like him sometimes. Because he has such a lean core.
Yeah.
Even him overweight is like
jacked.
But here's why you can't hate him.
No, fluffy, soft, small.
He used to be a fat kid, so you can't even talk shit like, oh, you're just genetically blessed.
Oh, no shit.
But dude, we went through this phase where like, he just stopped working out for a couple months because we're getting so busy. He's like, dude, I understand the season of life I'm in.
Sure.
And he's done bodybuilding competitions. He's won them. He's done his thing, right? But it's like, he just kind of understood that season of, nah, man, this is just kind of where we're at. Yeah. But we're just now starting to get out of that season where we're kind of like reaping what we've sown.
Yeah.
We got a long way to go, but we're kind of starting to get some time. And I started getting uncomfortable this past couple weeks. I've been getting uncomfortable with having a little bit more time. And I'm like, I got to help the team more. And it's like, hey, dude, you got about 30 to 60 days before like this next project that we've been building comes out and is going to require more from you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is like your little season where God's letting you have some time to get back into you. Hey, have a recess. And I still got plenty of shit to do. Don't get me wrong. But I got a little bit more time to focus on diet and maybe a couple more cardio sessions that I want. It's like, hey, dude, you got a season of going a little bit more internal.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the deal. Those don't come around all the time.
Yep.
You could lean in and use that right now to gain that momentum with self.
Yep.
And then right back into like the next growth for the team.
100%.
And you got to learn that ebb and flow of like self and team. And like you have a little bit of that stuff every day. Don't get me wrong, right? Mm-hmm. But then there's these chapters where like you get a little bit more time. And my initial reaction was like, I'm not doing enough. I'm not valuable. I'm a shitty CEO. And it's like, no, everybody's put in
doing
position.
better for yourself is still the same. It's still just as good work.
Now
You're just
that
not categorizing it.
I just didn't recognize it yet. My first recognition was, what Eli helps me see is like, hey, dude, you've put people in positions to do well, and it's starting to come into fruition. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to, which means it requires less from you.
Yeah.
And then so now you're going to go help do the next thing. But that little interim was like, oh, dude, you could fucking do it. So that's why I've been so much more vocal about some of my personal goals, because it's important not to lose touch of who you want to be for you in addition to who you're being for everyone else, right? And again, dude, I
you're the leader
self-initiate
of it.
100%.
But
But
when you're the leader of it, this is the time that you have to become a better leader so that you can take your team up. You know,
dude, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Did you when you were going through this this time of like, you know, man, I need to become an entrepreneur, not just a business owner now. Did you still have those same mentors, or were there some new kind of guys around?
Yeah, no, same mentors, but I was reading more. Like I got books recommended to me and stuff, you know. And like I said, the Rich Dad Poor Dad was kind of the gateway to the real estate investing. And then I read Jocko Willink's book in 2016 when I was going through those financial troubles. I actually read it in 2017, 2018 when I was doing it.
Everything's your fault,
And
Austin.
I was like, fuck, I needed that. But I didn't I don't think at that time in my life I would have read a business book and like respected a guy like that. And so since he was a veteran, I was like, he's right. So
And he's a
I was
successful
I'm a new father for the most part, you know. I'm like, I'm responsible. Look at me, I'm fucking this all up. And so I was like, okay, so if I'm the problem, then I'm also the solution. And I have to, it's not about how hard I'll work. Like I'll figure it out. But it's about the information and the vehicle that I'm in.
Yeah.
So that's where I was like, I got to change. And so I did. I started investing in like real estate education. I went hardcore, like right during that period of time that I'm telling you guys, I invested $52,000 into a 2-year program. Yeah. My wife and I put on 2 business cards because I had my building company still. So I was able to have 2 credit limits that would get me there. Yeah. And then I invested the $52,000 into a 2-year real estate program where we went out every quarter to learn about real estate. We sat in these classes, these seminars for the whole weekend, take back these books and knowledge. This was before fucking Instagram gurus or anybody was a coach. Yeah. That's how you learned if you wanted to learn anything outside of college. Yeah. Or you grew up with a dad that did it or a dad's friend. Yep. End of story.
And what the hell did you do? Just learn how to fix and flip, learn how
I mean, and I had bought a few rentals as a builder, you know, I buy a few rentals here, but it was like $700 a month. Fuck that. You know, I'm doing $100,000 invoice, you know, this week, you know, for this house. Yeah. And so, so I was like, but it allowed me to see the other side, right? I had a couple of rentals that went vacant and they were like, you guys should turn these into seller finance. And I was like, I learned about seller finance. And so I started becoming the bank on some of these deals. And I was like, it started to shift. And then over time, all the way up until 2020 and 2021, 2020 was a nightmare for building. So, but I had all these clients that wanted to build. Like I had the reputation, I had everything going. They were like throwing money at me because they have more money than they've ever had, but I couldn't get material. I couldn't get subs. Nobody knew what was going to happen. Time delays. I couldn't even give you an estimate because I didn't know if lumber was going to be double the next freaking month. The lumber yard's like, here's the invoice that's good till tomorrow. The estimate.
But thank God though, because that was like.
So I'm like, this is my chance. Is what I did. I was like, this is my chance. I already had like 7 or 8 customs going. I let them die off, and so by the time 2021 hit,
as you were finishing customs,
I just wouldn't take on new clients. I was like, I'm done. People will call, you know, and I'd be like, no, I wouldn't prospect. I wouldn't try at all. I started investing all that extra time into buying more assets, doing some fix and flips. And really what made it fruition, right? I did this with my wife. I told you guys went to that program. I kind of beta tested it because I didn't just fucking burn the boats like a lot of people say. Literally, like not with business. I was like I put some shit on ice because of I burned the boats. I did the 2 specs. That was my mind, you know? Fuck it, send it, get the loans. And I was like, I learned my lesson. Let's do shit a little slower. And so there's a time to burn the boats. There's time not. And so I was like, okay. So my wife goes off, starts doing some of the things we were learning, and she ends up wholesaling a property and making like 15 grand on it. Meanwhile, I'm doing some remodels and these customs, and I'm just gonna make 15 grand over the next 9 months for these folks, bro.
Just finding it off market, taking a finder's
and
fee
she
to
made
sell
it in 30 days, and I'm gonna do it in 9 months
with
and
like
still
no
be
risk.
and still be liable for everybody. And I was like, oh hell no. I was like, that's the evidence I needed. Continue to go. And then we started buying off market deals. And then in 2021, my last custom finished, and I started taking down like between 20 and 30 properties every year.
Wholesaling.
And keeping as rentals, then I was also flipping probably between 30 and 40
so
a year.
depending on the deal, you would flip, rent out,
the way I
or
run
wholesale.
it and the way I teach people originally is this. So I teach people to get into affordable housing because that's what I started with. I couldn't afford anything else. Small banks gave me the loans. And so what I do is like, we have basically the objective is to flip it at first because most people need capital. We need the amount of capital. And so we go and we buy it, we flip it. But what we do is we run our numbers as a rental property as well. And so just in case we have a contingency plan, we can refinance the property and essentially burr it to where we can keep it and throw it in the portfolio. What that allows you to do is keep moving. Because that's what happened to me in 2018 is
and
I
at
had
some
2
point
houses.
You could refi again and pull some
rent.
equity out of it if you have to.
I've done it many times. I did 26 unit refi when I moved to California. And so that's essentially what I do. And then the other contingency play, which we do a lot of, and we carry our notes. So instead of selling the home, I'm selling the home as a flip and taking the equity and cash now, or keeping it as a rental for tax deductions and cash flow purposes. we'll end up seller financing it, and we'll become the bank, and we'll essentially charge a higher interest rate and take a larger down payment.
So when you're looking at
And
these
if they
properties,
default, you take the house
I
back.
got the house
Yeah.
back. I've had one burned down, and I made like 40 grand on it after it burned down. And I already made like another 60 between.
I wonder how many
guys.
guys like in Oklahoma when like shit's not going well. It's like they hear a tornado's coming to town.
Like, yes,
Everyone's just driving their trucks.
or
and
hailstorms for the roofs.
Everyone's parking their shit outside.
100%. Total it.
yeah.
100%.
So now that you guys are doing that, you're still doing that, but you've also recently got into coaching, right? So it's like life, fitness.
It started with real
Everything?
estate, man. So people saw what I did really fast out of building. And you should have seen, similar to what we've talked about, you with the law enforcement.
Yeah.
When I went from working for my dad to being a builder, not very many people said much because I was really young. And they're like, fucking good for you. Start your company. And they're like,
And
we'll
they
see.
see it
We'll
as
see.
exactly, but they see it as an ascension.
Yeah.
But when
then
you
I
get
get
out,
out, when I
it's
go
like-
from building and I'm on the board of directors for Oklahoma Home Builder Association,
a
I'm like,
wholesaler.
they're like, you're going to be a fucking investor. But I started looking at it.
Yeah.
Like the builder has this glorious life picture painted, like I kind of explained.
You want to be rich or famous?
And exactly what I realized. And so being the guy that's actually wealthy and rich is the guy that I was like, I can do whatever the fuck I want. And that goes back to what I was saying.
But some of these other guys, like big fish in a small pond, you're out in Freedom, Oklahoma, and you're a big deal and you build every house. Like you make a little bit of money, couple $100 grand, it's all good, but you're a big deal in your town.
Yep.
And it's like, hey, that's cool.
That goes
but
back
that's
to
not
like
what
what they
do.
want, you know? What do they want? And some people, if they don't ever ask that question, they'll double down and stay that way. And a lot of times what I realized in that community, and even people that I know very well that were older than me, that were kind of builder mentors of mine, guys that do, the old guy that's built forever, that became friends at the,
I've been here 40 years.
Yeah, and
My
he's like, you need to
son's
be
gonna
doing
do it
this
too.
way and that way. Is what I realized is they wanted a different life than I wanted.
100%.
And I was like, oh shit, I'm taking
hold
advice
on.
from all these people.
True.
And I don't want that.
Yeah.
They, a lot of times, dude, they're in it for the ego.
But here's the thing, and that's what I was going to
The
get at, because not only should you not take advice from people, like, hey, it got you to where you were,
100%.
but now that you want to do something different, you got to look for different mentorship. But what's interesting is like when people say they're happy with who they are, what they do, then it's interesting when someone decides to go pursue something else, they shun them or talk shit, and it's like, are you really happy? Did you really chase your dream?
Or did you just give up on
Did you really do it? Or like, did you, because here's what I can speak to, and it'll creep up on you more than you think. Here's what might happen. I get my fucking cord unfucked. You can get so caught up in the mission, right? Like for me, I'm not leaving real estate. I'm not leaving Eli. We're good, right? But imagine this, like at 40, hey, my mom passing away. I reflect on that this past 2 years. We're at a certain place in business. I'm a father. And certain things hit me to where like I remember myself, right? But him and I have been so busy blasting in fucking business.
You're so head down.
But how blessed am I to like recognize it at 40, where we're still plenty young and plenty freedom to still make sure we can be who we want to be while we're pursuing what we want to pursue. Imagine guys that are
Most people don't wake up at all.
Dude,
Will.
golden handcuffs. You can either have a job that pays too much you can't get away from, or you can create one for yourself.
I did
that and
overtime, and I was making
So
fucking
imagine
money.
these
I was
guys that are
doing better
builders.
than any of my friends.
Exactly. And imagine these guys in their 60s.
What are you gonna do, bro?
But then you decide to bounce. Like you could bounce.
They're like, what are you talking about, bro?
But guys that are in their 60s that have built it, it's been around for 40 years or 30 years, and they watch you do it. Could it be a reminder of like them not? And then they go,
100% what it was.
It's and it's too late for them to do it.
I think they just were head down so long, like you said. I don't think
I'm telling you.
I think the internet gave us some more perception.
Yeah.
So we could see like, oh, I don't have to live my life this way.
Yeah,
and all
dude,
I
I'm
need
looking
to, I
at
need
your
to see
punk
it.
ass. I'm like, he's blasting. Why am I not fucking
Dude,
blasting?
that's the
I'm gonna bring
benefit
him on
of
the
it, though.
fucking
Is it
podcast.
you can choose to freaking shun it, or you can be like, hey, there's opportunity there. I could see that's possible. I'm glad that they did that.
And then you just have to have enough pause.
Well, think about the people. I like to
reflect.
analyze it like this, bro.
Yeah.
Think about the guy that starts the sandwich shop at the corner, and then he wakes up 40 years later, still fucking making sandwiches because he never worked on his business. He just he was the best at the fucking sandwich.
Yep.
There's so many of those small businesses that get so lost in that. And honestly, something I skip over a little bit in my story, it's kind of my first time to talk about it, is like, I first proposed and came to my dad because I'm very eager. I was very entrepreneurial. I was like, I want to do something. And he he didn't want to change anything that he had going on, and who am I to fucking tell him what to do with his business? You know,
But if you're telling somebody else, it's like, oh, it's probably some things you should be telling yourself and doing
100%.
yourself.
So that's what I ended up happening.
And typically, when you're telling others these ideas that they should do, that's the first indicator.
But as a son going to a dad that has a company, you're
100%.
like in your mind, you're like, oh, I could add this on, and you get excited about like adding to the family dynamic.
And we could do it together.
Yeah, and then you realize what I realized though is that my dad cared more about his ego, to be honest. Like, not ego in a bad way, but he likes the attaboys more. My dad will do jobs for free. My dad will do volunteer stuff because if people
Good
are
old
like, oh,
boy.
Mike, he's so great.
Yeah,
This is
totally.
the best guy. He's done the right thing. And so that benefited me by having my reputation and who I am.
Dude, 100%.
But the other side of it was like, I wanted to get into business where it was non-emotional, and it was like, it's not screwing somebody over or anything, but it's non-emotional, strictly on the numbers, strictly transactional, so that I can take the money and live the life I want to live. And I
here's
can
the deal.
have the tats I want to have.
100% being your own boss. Now, here's where it's okay.
That's true freedom, in my opinion.
100%.
It is. And here's the deal, dude. There's some folks that like we've met in real estate that we coach that'll do a handful of deals and all good. And here's the thing. That's okay too.
It is okay.
Because here's what I'm learning. The pursuit of more, like the ambition and the pursuit of more, it's risky. It's hard.
For sure.
It's not fucking guaranteed. And the further you go, the more you're going to have to give up before there's ever something you're going to get back in return.
Oh, yeah.
The reason why him and I do it is I think it's our natural buoyancy. If I look at my Marine Corps career or anything else that I've done, I've kind of just, man, I'm just going to do the thing. And I'm going to work at pace how I work at pace. And regardless of what I was doing it how I do it. Same thing with him, serial entrepreneur, doing his thing. Like, I remember you told me about like your shampoo carpet company that you fucking had. And I was like, dude, that's ripper, bro. Like, you're fucking me. Like, him and I just like, not that we don't enjoy our downtime or our freedom, but there's just a certain level of commitment or grind that we're going to do to something because it's just kind of how we are.
Yep.
And you could drop a fucking bucket of money or fucking house full of money in this room right now. We're still going to go invest that somehow or work it somehow. 100%. We're probably going to find a way to lose fucking half of it doing something else and have to make it back.
Because we need to lose half to get motivated to go and like,
But dude, there's something about like when you say some things like it's just like,
it is.
It's just kind of who you are. And when you have a calling for more and ambition for more, hey, that's okay. And you should pursue that. And sometimes we shame people that way. Right?
100%. I'll give you an example.
You're not giving your kids enough time or this and like here's the deal. And then if you're not that person, you are the person that's genuinely happier, being more content. Dude, that's fucking okay too.
Yeah.
Because what people don't talk enough about is I think there's this expectation nowadays with entrepreneurship and the internet being out there and social media that everybody should be this fucking grinder, hustler, go like and if
There's
you're
just some
not,
people
you're
that
fucking
aren't, bro.
lazy. But the point is like some people act like they want to go do that.
And they don't.
The honesty behind the effort and the risk and what you have to fucking stomach to go out and go.
Yeah.
If it's just not kind of in you to be that, it's not, but then cool. But when you're living your best life, maybe the content side of like 9 to 5, or maybe you're an entrepreneur, but you've built a company that's good and you have no, like it takes care of itself and it's good and have a great life.
Yep.
And then you find other outlets of snowboarding or doing other shit that's extreme.
100%.
The point is like just being unapologetically yourself. And how to identify, and then just
But you have
find your
to
tribe.
identify that, right?
Yeah.
No, most people don't
Identify,
self-reflect.
and then find your tribe.
Yes.
Because if you're that guy that is wanting more, but you're in that circle of the ones that don't, yeah, man, you're the oddball out trying to convince people to be something they're not.
Yep.
Same thing with me. Like
was
when I left the police world, of course I didn't fucking understand it. They should have been more supportive of other. Don't get me wrong,
It is
some of
what
them
it
threw
is.
some shit, but it doesn't matter. The point is, like I've got a buddy Rob. You know Rob, closest friend, one of my closer friends. I was his partner as a cop. Dude, his dad was a detective for 40 fucking years. And Rob's a sergeant right now, and that's his thing, and that's his dream. And that's him, dude.
Yeah.
And he lets me be me. But I got no business telling Rob other shit he could go, oh, dude, you could come with me. Man. No, dude, he's fucking happy, bro. He's living in his light.
But I think what happens is people say they want that, and so when I was
And then you
coming
get
up,
shiny
and I
people
would be like,
syndrome.
sick, dude,
and
I'll
you
help
wanna
you,
pour
bro.
into 'em.
That's what I
Motherfucker.
did, bro. All my friends,
Dude, me too.
yeah.
Me too. And it's because they want what they see.
Correct. They don't
And
want
it's
to do
like-
the work behind the scenes.
That's the byproduct of, dude, we just like, yeah, I got a Lambo.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah.
But I just don't, but you don't see where it came from. And I just don't know any other way but to like just kind of grind. But what's cool about real estate is I think guys like you, all of us, we're going to work hard. I'm not working harder now than I did when I was a cop. I'm just in a faster fucking car.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Real estate's just more fucking money. There's more possibility.
Yep.
There's more money. There's more expression of freedom. So like what real estate and entrepreneurship for me, where I found it, is more financial upside, potential if you're good at it, more freedom, more expression of self, different lanes of income that you can create. It's like, so it hit me in a spot where it feeds my ambition. It challenges me. It feeds my ambition. Going back and having a boss right now, I would probably literally cry. I would probably I would call me like, I don't want to go to work. I call in sick on my first fucking day, right? Like, or I get fired somehow. Like,
100%.
But I think people just, dude, you just have to really align, but then allow it to be okay to find your tribe. Like Eli didn't even meet until after I was a cop. I met Eli 7 years ago. Closest brother, closer than any, like I got 3 close Marine brothers. He's just as close, if not closer. Right?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
You like, who knows how long we'll know you for, dude? We could end up raising our fucking grandkids together, fucking talking smack about their fucking girlfriends and shit.
100%.
Their girlfriends trying to take their fucking tatted grandpa. Right? Like, who the fuck knows?
100%.
But the thought of that is really cool. But it's like, man, you just have to really understand, like, be open. Like, in your pursuit of greatness, whatever version it is, you also need to be open in finding your tribe and people that just align with it's different, just people that align with more what you want to pursue. That's why we all get along. This is why it feels like we already know each other.
Yeah.
100%.
Even though we've never fucking met.
It's easy.
That's not spoken about enough too. Versus like,
and it should be
initially
easy.
you try to force your circle to be the change. It's like, no, dude, you're shedding some skin. That's not good or bad. It just is what it is. But like, give yourself permission to go grow.
Yeah.
Don't feel like you have to stay back or keep up if your people are doing other shit, right? Yeah.
Man, changing gears just a little bit. I'm curious, like you're obviously fucking diced, right? You have tons of good social media content and stuff on there. You're shredded. We haven't talked one bit of fitness yet. How big of that, do you contribute to like your success right now? How big of part of your coaching program is that, like with other people? What does that look like in general for you?
So I mean, honestly, I think of it as the foundation, right? And not necessarily that people need to go and freaking get a six pack, but the reality is a lot of confidence comes from the seeing that you can follow through with something and see to fruition. And one of the easiest, cheapest things you can do is just put less food in your mouth. And so, like a fucking great
like the way
thing.
you
So,
put that,
but going back to like
Austin.
my very beginning.
I've been liking you for how many fucking minutes?
I know.
But like,
Just
so when I got
to
started,
liking the
bro,
fucking guy, now he's just going up.
I met the guys at the gym. My mentors were from the gym originally, so like they were entrepreneurs. But I tell people this. I first asked them, "Hey, bro, how'd you get arms like that? Do you mind telling me what you do or how you eat? I don't know anything, right? Like there was an internet that was that prevalent, when I started." And so I'm like, how do you get big, bro? He's like, fucking protein, bro, and magazines.
Muscle media.
Yeah, I'm reading it. I'm
development.
asking them at the gym. I'm like, I'm coachable. And so it went from there, and then it went into entrepreneurship. And then, I've gone back and forth. I've done everything in the realm of fitness for the most part. I CrossFit for 4 years. I did jujitsu. I even partial owner of an MMA gym for a short period of time.
No money in it.
And a lot of injuries in jujitsu, but I loved it, I wrestled in high school, wrestled through my career. But anyways, so the fitness thing is huge to me, and it's a good foundation just because of the basic disciplines,
Yep.
And
what I do with it now is, like, for instance, I've had guys that have made $25,000 or $28,000 on a flip, and then they'll be like, hey, I'm kind of miserable. They'll hear me talking. They'll see me poking them on social. They'll be like, hey, I want to get jacked doing them. So I'll spin them up. I'll get them on some macros. I'll get them everything. And I got guys with 6-packs that have made $20,000 in the first year working with me. So
at some point it's like both, right? Like there's guys that we all know that are super shredded and they can't get out of the gym and they're not successful. And then you got guys that like become successful at business and they're great at sales 100%. Or structure. And it's like, hey, how the fuck can you take all of that discipline and structure and organization, but you're still overweight? We naturally gravitate to one side or the other probably, but the reality is like just trying to find a way to like, and I think that's where it comes back for me. Like I talk like I'm obese or something, but I think I'm just hard on myself. But it's like still finding time to like, hey, who, like when you close your eyes, if someone was like, hey, Austin, we're going to throw this fucking summer bash in Florida in July. And we want you to come. You're going to guest speak with us. We want you to come. Hey, dude, it's a family-friendly event. We're going to bring our families, et cetera, but we're doing a dinner one night. We're doing this the next night. We're doing this next night. If I were to say that right now, or if you were the person in this studio on this podcast with us right now, and I were to say that, and all of you listening were invited. If you're driving, don't close your eyes. If you're not driving, close your eyes. Will's inviting you to the Day One $0 Summer Bash in Miami. This coming year, we're having a dress-up night for dinner where it's adults only. Then we're doing kiddos and stuff the next day. Cool, you got it? Great. Now, if you're imagining yourself at the event I just mentioned, what do you look like?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. What
What are you wearing to dinner? Hey, it's a black tie event. Do you look? None of us imagine ourselves extremely overweight in that tux, do we? And that's what I'm getting at. Like, when's the last time you just casually envisioned yourself at an upcoming event? Or how many people don't travel or do vacations because they're overweight, or don't do certain things because they can't fit the dress clothes? Who knows? But the point
an
is,
internal prison, bro.
exactly. But you don't even know you're in the fucking prison, man.
Yeah.
Because we can get out there. Because here's what that prison.
I'm fucking really hard on myself. I don't know. My mind is different than that.
But the point is, you can get so fucking busy where like the prison looks more like a zoo.
But here's
Like you
here's
can
how
go
I
outside,
learned
you
this.
can't eat. You don't really realize that you're enclosed. But this is what helps me. If you were to invite me to something this summer, hey Will, we're doing this fucking mastermind. You're better looking than me. You're buffer than me. You're smarter than me. You talk better. It's my imagination. We need you to come talk, right? And I just casually right now envision myself coming to your event for the summer. What do I look like? Am I blasted?
Yeah.
Am I shredded? What am I
It's
wearing
your best
for black
version
tie?
of yourself?
But what I'm saying is like that casual glance at yourself, that's the one that's been there all along that you keep forgetting about. And because it's right there at a glance, you overlook it. And I'm speaking from first person as well. Dude, I literally had this, I told you in the car on the way over here about the neck tattoo and some different things that I'm doing. Like my wife's like, oh yeah, like in dress clothes. I'm like, oh, it's funny you say that because when I think of myself doing something, and because it's right here in your peripheral, you keep overlooking the motherfucker every day.
But here's the deal. Here's what I think. I think the closer you get to your calling or your purpose, that you don't overlook them anymore. It becomes so loud you can't turn it off.
Unless you're in a place of service. I've been so much in my calling of
Some
helping
people's
others.
callings are service, right? They are
dude,
that way. And so you have to
it's
define
hard.
if that's the case or not.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like that. This is where I
Because
give.
obviously if you're becoming a law enforcement officer, you're not trying to become a multimillionaire.
Okay, so I'm glad you
It's two
said
different
that.
stories.
No, but here's where like I've overlooked some certain things. Like for me, like military, government work, police work, like dude, I've just been in great shape because of tactical proficiency. You can't be fat and tactical. Some guys tried to argue me on social media, and it's like, look, dude, you're just rationalizing your state.
Yeah.
It's not a thing. But when you like, you can overlook it easier than you think and make things more acceptable than you think. And
Well, it's comfort.
or
It's comfort.
it could be.
Yeah.
It could be complacency. It could be you're just serving up. But the bottom line is, once you catch it, like once you catch yourself out of the corner of your eye again,
Oh, yeah.
you got to really do the best you can
But
to
you're
like,
right about not
let that go.
When I was going through those phases of business, I mean, I was not in my best shape. I don't look like I did now. I look better now in my 30s than I did in my late 20s.
At some point, you caught it, right? At
Yeah, I
some
look back
point,
at pictures when my kids were babies, and I was fucking drinking keg beer every single night because I had a kegerator, and I was still PTing in the morning like a Marine, but I was like, I look older or worse of a body at 28 and 31,
Then you do
32
it
years old than I do
37.
now. Fuck yeah, I look way better.
and that's what I'm getting at, right? Is like giving the forgiveness of like, look, we
But
go
you're right. I was all in on business at that point too. So
right,
my
but
mind
and
was-
that's the thing is like, hey, we all go through seasons of like,
there's seasons of life.
but the whole point though is like, as you progress, at some point, the pursuit is to dial it all in.
But this
To
is
bring it
this
all,
is-
like
this
to
is what
bring
you're
it
saying.
all together, right? Like when you're throwing shit against the wall in business, and then so you're eating Taco Bell or drinking beer, and like you kind of, but like as you progress though,
Yeah.
you start putting it all together.
You do. Well, because your
100%.
personal development has to come first over your financial development or anything else.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to let that go, because if you don't let your personal development develop first, then you usually have an ego that will block one of the other things.
Or like your like for us, like our personal development is like, dude, we're great at fucking real estate shit. So we just lean into that hard, and you have a lot of progress, but then you're getting all of this reward and accolade for what you're doing external from yourself versus internally. Hey,
But you can smell it. So I got into an entrepreneur group. I won't say which. During this process of being a builder and moving into investing, and then you had to qualify into it. It's not a real estate investing group. This is another group than we spoke about.
Yep.
And so it's an entrepreneur group.
yeah, if
that
everybody
became
heard that right, I got this skinny.
There you go.
I'm in.
It's a different one, but yes, you can get on that one. But so anyways, this group is full of entrepreneurs, and some of them have done massive numbers. It's actually, the objective is people are very quiet about it. I mean, you can't, what's the right word?
It's word of mouth.
Yeah, it's word of mouth, but also confidentiality. Like, you know, whatever we're talking about here doesn't go out the room kind of thing.
Yeah. Fight
and
Club.
some of these guys do big, it's Fight Club.
Yeah.
But for entrepreneurs. And some of these guys are doing big numbers, $100 million companies and things like that. And it's a global community. And you can get into it. You guys can look it up. But I got into it and I started networking with these guys, and I'd sit at these round tables, and they would all, every single fucking time you talk about the things you could work on, things you're doing, they would constantly, every time we'd have these reports, they'd look at it and they'd be like, I'm going to get into the gym. I'm going to do better. And these guys are doing big numbers. And they're like, their business is killing it. They're doing all these things. I've seen people lose $100,000 at a craps table, like, and not even think anything about it. I've seen it's insane. So to me, I was wild. And I'm the small fry in this room, right? I barely qualified. I'm like, fucking hey. I hope they don't book one of those trips I can't afford. Like, literally, like, that's how I'm thinking. Like, this is gonna be. I don't want to be the guy that acts like I can't afford the fucking $15,000, Annie to get on the private jet.
Yeah.
But I would sit in these tables and I would get a glimpse of these guys doing big numbers and money. And they'd be fucking hating their wife. They'd be bitching about all the shit that they're going on. They'd be talking about how they're going to lose weight. And then going back to psychedelics, we didn't talk about this, but we talked about it off camera. A lot of these guys are trying to do the same thing you just said. They're trying to hit the restart button.
They're going outward, not inward, right?
100%. Well, why would they? They're so fucking credible. They've done so great in business. So they stand on that one leg of the chair, bro.
Shit.
So their ego, they're like, this is who I am. But they don't ever see any other fucking things. And I was like, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be worth
Was it confusing? Like,
hundreds of millions of dollars.
Were you like looking from
I
the
was
outside
confused,
and go like,
bro.
You're fucking rich, powerful, smart. Like, dude,
Fix
you don't
this
even have
shit.
to work. You can literally go every day, all day.
Yeah.
Your company runs itself.
Yeah.
You literally could have.
They still have problems.
You
right?
can
Every
afford
business has
personal
problems.
trainer. Yeah, but they could afford a personal trainer, food prep.
This is what happens, dude.
They could afford a
don't have
personal chef.
They have these insecurities, but they're masked and they don't even know they have these insecurities. And so they have this ego. And so when you'd sit down or you'd have cocktails with these guys, they would stand on that one. They were pretty cocky guys at a certain point.
But they would mention.
But they're very insecure.
They
You can
would
smell the
recognize your
insecurity.
physique, and they'd go, man, I got to get back.
Oh, what are you going to go to the gym?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or when I wanted to get a Lambo, these are also the kind of guys that, like, I get a lot of trolls on social media talk about, like, real rich people don't buy Rolls Royces. Real rich people don't buy Lambos.
Shut the fuck
and
up.
I'm like, dude, here's the deal. Facts. Would it be smarter financially to fucking invest in buying a cheap car, fucking invest all my money into real estate and grow that? And do I have the knowledge to do so? Yes. But I got a really good glimpse from the Marine Corps, and I'm also smart enough to know that I may not make it home tonight, and so I'm gonna fucking live my life today.
Why can't you have fun?
And you're also not gonna. You're like, hey, motherfucker, I'm also not betting $100,000 hands on fucking craps.
Exactly.
Okay,
That's a
so-
piss away of money. Well, here's the
Yeah,
thing I learned,
yeah.
dude. I had a guy that I built a house for.
Yeah.
Outside of this realm, off the subject of what we just said, but like I had a guy that built a house for, did really well, sold medical supplies.
Okay.
Was just a wrestler before in college, ended up getting into medical sales, ended up starting his own business.
Yeah.
Good dude. But he drove an old pickup all the time. He didn't really give a shit what he drove. And he was like, I'd never buy like an exotic car. Don't do all this. Lives in a monster house, by the way. Building another house that I was building for him.
Yeah.
And I know this dude. He'd go on like $50,000 hunts. He has probably over $250,000 in hunting
like, dude,
equipment.
what's the difference?
3,000 acres.
Yeah, what's-
no difference? But
Yeah.
the cars get shit on. But my point is, it goes back to like really understanding you and what do you want. And if you're chasing somebody else's dream your entire life to get to the end of the book, and you look
Or
at
if
it and you're
someone's like, hey,
"Fuck."
I'd never buy that car. Why?
Exactly.
Because if that's not who you are, and you're not a car guy, then don't.
Well,
Yeah.
then you,
But
like
if-
we said, you see
but
the
if
guy
you
that
are-
buys the car that doesn't ever want the car, but he feels like he wants the clout.
Yeah.
And then
Wrong.
it doesn't ever, it feels awkward
Yeah.
too.
It feels no different than guys that are getting inked that shouldn't get inked.
Exactly, dude.
But
We
it's like-
all know those dudes.
Yeah, but it's like, listen, get rid of this whole or thing. You're this or that. Like, why
can
can't you be
it all?
rich and shredded
Yep.
and have fun? Like,
That's my
why to
philosophy.
be rich, you have to like,
You have to have a Honda Civic. You have to have a
Bro.
fucking paid off.
bro, it's like the
It kills
listen,
me, bro.
And let me just be the pretentiousness behind the effort to fucking do that. Shut the fuck
Oh
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you right now, if that's the life that it takes, fuck you. I don't want
Yeah.
that shit.
100%.
No, have some
yeah.
fun while you're doing it. But again, I think it's like because
But I know what I want.
well,
Yeah.
and just being strong enough to be unapologetically yourself and rock out and have fun, dude. Like some guys are gonna throw some shade at that because like they just didn't have the confidence to do it
Well,
themselves.
it goes back to what you said.
And
They
here you
gave
are
up
doing
on
it.
it, bro. They
Yeah.
gave up on it. You know?
Yeah.
Grant Cardone said it best, dude. He goes, you give up on your dreams, you're going to convince the people around you to give up on theirs as well.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
it's the facts.
Yeah.
And they don't even know it. You get to a point in life, like you said, you lose track. Like there was things, we've talked about this on the way from the airport to your house here.
Yeah.
That you wanted as a young man whether it was a Marine, tattooed, tough, that you saw in a movie that was admired, right? I watched all the freaking Arnold movies. I watched Rambo. I watched all these war movies, and that's what drew me to the Marine Corps. I'm like, these guys are the fucking man. I want to be the man. And then we'd watch Triple X, dude. Vin Diesel's all blasted out.
Yeah, fur
and shit.
coat.
I'm like, so sick. He fucking has fun. He skates. He fucking does all this shit, travels the world. I want to do that shit. And I'm like, dude, I never lost that vision. I still love that. And so, but then there's people that'll be like, no, you can't do that because you know what I have to do? I have a law firm to run.
And listen, dude, it's
It's
always unsolicited too.
They're the liars though, and it's unsolicited.
It's always like just casual talk and chat with somebody, like, and they just start telling you what you should do or why you shouldn't do. And it's like, man, I don't remember fucking asking you.
Nope.
How's your wife, by the way?
Yeah. Oh, that's what miserable fucking life.
Yeah.
Bro.
How's your wife? No.
If they're honest to what they really want to do,
sure? Are you sure?
You know, then it's good.
Yeah. Doggy style, that's it. So she doesn't have to fucking look at you.
Yeah. Dude.
Okay. All right. What are we talking about?
Now you personally, bro splits, cardio a few days a week. What's it look like for you?
So right now, I'm basically just freaking flowing through it. You know, I go get a pump.
Okay.
You know, I'm not trying to get bigger or anything.
Yep.
A lot of it's just like what your diet saying.
Yeah,
super
my
clean.
diet's huge. Super
Yeah.
clean.
Do you track regularly? You just know by now.
So I
kind
tracked
of-
so hardcore for a long time that I know it by now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
This is how I describe it. You have no debt or principal on a credit card.
That's 100%.
Like
With my
if
food.
if you have if you have a credit card of $50,000 and you max out the credit card and it's got 20-30% interest on it, that's being overweight. You got to work that much harder just to get some of the interest before you even get into the principal.
Yes.
But if you got all the interest off and there's no principal, I mean, like, there's just, you can really like have a little bit more freedom with like what your body's going to do because of where you're at.
Yeah. For sure.
100%.
And everybody, it depends on the phase that you're in, right? If you're trying to lose weight, then you need to track super hard. You need to understand food. It's just like financial literacy, dude. The super important for me to teach my kids is, you know, understanding food, understanding how to control their bodies, because that's usually number one insecurity most people have. Understanding gun functions and things like that in order to protect themselves, jujitsu and things like that. Driving cars, functionality, changing things if they need to. But then also financial literacy. You know, those are the things that we really should be taught. I feel
How's fatherhood for you? How you got?
I love it, bro. I have two daughters. Yeah.
How old are they?
7 and 8. They're 13 months apart.
Crazy,
They
right?
do jiu-jitsu. They're crazy.
That's awesome.
I got a 6-year-old son that would just love your daughters.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that'd be a blast.
Dude,
Bro.
he's so innocent because he doesn't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
Like, we had like I got the homie that comes and does details on the cars and stuff, and he's got a little 6-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
That's like Cash, this little homie.
Yeah.
Like he wants to go. Like, Dad, I'm gonna go check out the yard. Like he's putting on his little Marine Corps tack vest.
Yeah, looking cool, bro.
Dad, I'm gonna go. It's nice outside. I want to, and he'll start telling.
So funny.
I'm like,
I love
listen,
that.
dude.
That's great.
I know why you're going outside.
Yeah.
It's all. And he'll just kind of like, it's all good, dude.
That's funny, bro.
Yeah,
That's funny.
go
That's
learn how to do a
funny.
fucking cartwheel. Like,
Yeah.
it's fun. It's fun to like watch them. And when it comes to like the coaching, what do you feel like your biggest impact for people is?
So it's funny.
Is it personal development or
100% personal development, because I think I think your financial development will never surpass your personal development. Because it goes back to what I said. You know, you can make a bunch of money at it, but if
you
you
have
still,
a lot of fat guys that are rich,
but
right?
But what does that do? I mean, at the end of the day, is that what you want?
But
right?
see, that's what I mean. It's like I feel like some people's
And I'm not-
financial abilities do
do
grow
surpass.
past their personal development.
Right.
Well, I guess you have to define personal development. Because we're literally just talking like diet and exercise.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about being able to sit into a room
Well-rounded.
comfortably and be confident.
Yeah.
You know,
Like, why not?
know who you are, and I don't think people dive into that as often as
Have your kids that respect you, your wife that respects you.
Yeah.
Very different things.
Yeah, or going back to what
Respecting
Will said,
yourself.
is, you know, is respecting yourself,
Yeah,
understanding
100%.
who you are, being true to
Well,
you.
dude, the more I've like ventured in and thought of like self, like who Will wants to be for Will, in addition to who he needs to be for everyone else, the more I've been diving into that, the more I have naturally been finding God.
I believe that because the better you are to you, and the more true you are to you. If you're a good person, I tell people that, right? If your nature is to be that good person, then you'll be able to deliver more of you instead of having a shell around you.
But
that's
it's interesting
something
when
else.
you're open more about self, like who you find when you're looking.
Mm-hmm.
Like and I'm not looking for one thing. I'm not tunnel vision. You just, when you start asking yourself the question, like, yeah, I could be more shredded, but it's coming from a place of just being open minded, of like, hey, what else could I be? And like, yeah, who do I want to be for me? Like, that's a great
it
question.
goes back to the law of attraction, bro.
You'll
Your
start to
vibration's
find,
attracting the wrong
dude,
people when you're not who you are.
You'll start finding your faith.
Yeah.
You will. You'll
Like
find your tribe. Your vibe will attract your tribe, and you start becoming and attracting the people around you. And social media is a massive tool for that. But we didn't have that
100%.
before, so it's been like a
And then
paradigm shift.
It's also just another discipline. there's plenty of scattered ass and dumb shit on social.
True.
Or toxic fucking media. It's going to be like whatever you're looking for, you'll find it.
Yeah.
Whatever
100%.
you're looking for,
That's true.
And if you keep looking at my algorithm, the news, like, look, Instagram works. Start searching other shit.
Yeah.
And then your search criteria will be different.
Yeah.
Yep.
It will adjust for you. Start searching up God and faith or fitness or whatever, and you'll start like if your algorithm on Instagram's like, you know what?
Because you're fucked.
This should be the new flex. Like, you want to meet someone? Hand me your phone.
Look at their search page. Yeah.
Open up Instagram and hit search.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to make $1 gazillion as a coach, here's my new onboarding. You want me to be your coach? Come to my, and like, now that you guys are
You're going to audit their shit.
Clean your shit before you get to my house. Open your phone, click search, and I'm just gonna, and if you're open-minded, no judgment, but we're going to identify where your distraction and where your thoughts go. Is it scattered ass? Is it fucking fast car and too much fast car? Is it toxic news? Is it racial comedy? And I'm not even saying any of it's bad. I'm just saying, like, you'll find, like, if you can identify that distraction.
Sure.
And you go, oh man, my Instagram, like when I go here, it's nothing but Austin with his shirt off. Okay. What's that fucking telling you? Like, no matter what you see, when you see someone just like, hey, listen, your weakness identified is a strength. So if you're a social media person and you're diving in and I look at your search, like, hey, I'm not saying no Instagram. I'm not like, could we somehow turn that search criteria? Could we somehow find where there's a void and then start finding more time to search that? And then before you know it, even the tools that distract you can feed you.
Dude, it's tracking macros for your fucking mind, bro.
100%.
You know, like imagine chicks and fitness and like faith and work, and it's like just changing your proportions of like your macros a little bit.
And there's
It's
interesting
constant
shit.
calibration though.
Yeah.
You know? And that goes back to business and life and everything. So.
100%. Folks that are curious about, like, we're going to put links in the text and all that good stuff, man. But like, if people are really curious about your coaching, right? Hey, I want to get into real estate. I want to learn how to flip everything that you do. Or, hey, I just want to be a part of Austin's community of coaching and just be better at self. And, hey, I'm open-minded where that takes me, whatever it may be. What's the best ways for them to find you, man?
Sure, dude. It's super easy. Instagram, Austin.Hancock1, or go to my website, www.austin.com.
Who do you like most?
AustinHancock.com.
Like, who's your ideal, like, man, you come one, come all? Like,
client-wise?
Yeah. Is it more?
Come one, come all,
Is it men, women, anyone?
There'll be people with mostly men. A lot of times, you know, we have women on the program. We have couples on the program. You tend to, goes back what I said, you know, your vibe attracts your tribe. So we tend to get a lot of people that are tattooed or blue collar or things like that, or even people that just want to get into real estate.
Yeah.
It's funny because, you know, we'll be talking about real estate, but a lot of times it goes back to other things, you know, in life, right? Because all the real estate in the world, all the money in the world, usually there's a reason that goes back to entrepreneurship. People can't follow through with things. It starts with their foundation, man. It starts with their basics. Starts with some of the things we took for granted as Marines. You know, there's a lot of good shit that come from that. I realize that by coaching now. I'm like, these guys just don't have hardly any discipline. The civilian world is so bad, and a lot of vets fall out of it. But I think we know we have a foundation that's a little better when it comes to that. And I don't think they're prepared or set up with that.
Vets have the vets that fall out of it. Man, how do I say this? I gotta be so careful. I'm just gonna hope that they forgive me for saying this if I'm saying it wrong. Vets that fall out of it and just kind of go way off the deep end. Sometimes like the vets that like weren't the best when they were in.
Oh yeah,
and like they thought that that's what they wanted to be, and then they got in and they dreaded it for 4 years, and they only did it because they fucking had to. They didn't thrive. It wasn't contagious. It didn't. And like when they got out, it was like, oh, thank God. Like they just barely made it. And like, and then they just kind of go back to their normal self. Cause like some people, dude, they do go in and they're good dudes and they do okay. But it was like, man, I thought this is what I wanted to be. And it's fucking not, but I'm here now and it's not a democracy and there isn't getting out. You got to serve 4 years. So they they see it through. No different than someone that goes to fucking college and sees it through, but doesn't really excel through it. I feel like those tend to be the guys that kind of fall off from some of the discipline things. Is like they were trying to get away from it the entire time. It was just, but it was the mandate that kind of stuck it. But a lot of guys, they feel the benefit of it, and whether you're a lifer for the military or not, you at least grab like the discipline and structure of something, and you know, like, hey, that framework can be a template in any aspect of anything that I do. And now that you got a concept of it, you can apply it, right?
Like think about the simplest of things, like we talked about.
wake up.
Food, wake up early.
Hey, dude, how do you wake up early? I go to fucking
I go to bed on
What do you-
time.
what do you
Going back to
fucking
boot
mean?
camp, we're laughing, right?
Yeah.
I never thought about time in boot camp, but I look back, I'm like, bro, we were going to bed at like 9:30, bro.
Dude, you know what I heard? You know what I remember? I remember like being on
It'd
fire
get
watch
darker.
one time, and I was like tired, and one of my drill instructors, Staff Sergeant Cade, was like, comes up to me, he's talking all quiet. He was, dude, his fucking stack. He was the newest drill instructor to us, but he was already a staff sergeant. So I guess he just decided to be a drill instructor late.
Yeah.
But he fucking stacked.
Nice.
Fucking stacked, right? It's like super leaned out, shredded fucking black guy. Probably 155 pounds, 140 pounds. But
mean
just
as fuck.
fucking
Yeah.
mean. So mean. And he would come up to you at fucking night and whisper at you.
That's
Dude, where
hilarious.
you're
on
like,
fire with
dude, but it's fucking stacked. Like,
hilarious.
and you're looking, I'm like, why are you still in your fucking uniform? Like,
Dude, yeah.
what the fuck's the matter with you? But he, you know, and like I remember like he came up one time, he was just kind of more casual. And he's like, "You tired, Grimes?" And I was like, "Yes, sir, his recruit's tired." And he's like, "Let me tell you something. Boot camp, this is where you'll get the most sleep in the Marine Corps."
That's
Right
fucking
here.
right.
Buddy, if there was ever a thing that was more correct, it definitely wasn't School of Infantry.
Hell no.
It definitely wasn't being in the fucking like
No,
03
no,
anything.
no,
You ain't
no.
fucking sleeping.
No.
You're just not, dude. Like, and all good because it's, dude. When I got to School of Infantry, you weren't sleeping because like the difference is like they weren't trying to be a.
They weren't
A
being a
dick.
dick. They're just training you.
It was the training regiment. in
You had
School
to
of-
study your own shit too.
and it was just so hard. Like the
What?
learning curve and the amount of training you had to get done in School of Infantry before you go to your
2
unit.
months, bro.
It was so. There was just so much. There wasn't any.
ton.
There was no time for sleep. Like they were hard on you, but in a different way.
Yeah.
But there was just no time for sleep. And then you get to your unit, and then that's it. Like you're just not sleeping forever, right? Like, and you were like, "Oh shit, remember boot camp when you like slept?"
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like I never
great.
got a boner,
That's great.
but we
No
did
shit.
fucking
That's
sleep,
great.
right?
We
Like,
did sleep.
This crazy shit. We're trying to figure out like why you don't get boners in fucking boot camp.
They always say there's some push shit in the
Peanut
food,
butter.
bro. I don't know.
I heard it was the peanut butter shot.
Fuck, I don't know. Oh, no shit.
I heard. Do you remember the shot? Like
yeah,
they put in
I
your
thought it
ass
was
with-
penicillin.
Dude, I
That's
don't. They,
penicillin,
they
dude.
call it the peanut butter shot.
Just a bunch of shit.
Because they prick you in the butt with this shot when you're going through like med whatever when you're first
Okay.
going into boot camp, and they stick
Just
it
sludge.
It
Oh,
it
fucking
hurts so bad going in your butt. It literally feels like they're trying to push peanut butter into your
That's
ass through a
terrible.
fucking.
Probably a big ass needle too.
And then drill instructors
like-
will be like, make you sit on your ass and rock around.
Dude, it's
oh,
so
you're just
bad.
crying. It hurts like a motherfucker.
Damn.
Yeah, when you're done with your shots, you just get fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
Dude, they
Yeah.
stick you with so much shit going into boot camp. You know?
yeah. Here we are worried about COVID.
I know. I was like, I told
Not
people,
us.
I'm like, I didn't get the vax. I'm fucking super anti against any of that
Yeah.
crazy shit. But here I walked into boot camp and got hit with probably 17 different
Isn't it
things.
funny?
I got like
Right.
anthrax vaccinations
Right.
before deployment.
Isn't it so funny how we're like looking at COVID vax like, oh wait a minute, a minute,
Yeah,
like,
and then
yeah.
here I
hey bro, you literally like walked a fucking gauntlet of
Yeah.
like 16 shots. Didn't
It
no
probably
questions
wasn't
asked.
made by Pfizer though, so
Good
you probably
point.
were in
Good
good fucking
point.
Well,
shape.
and the
yeah.
difference was it was voluntary. You chose to go, and you're like, hey,
True.
this is a part of it versus
Yeah.
like the way that they were kind of like pushing shit
Oh,
on people.
yeah.
I think that's where like some of us were like, no, fuck you, dude.
You're
Yeah.
like, fuck that vax, you know? But
No.
here I am fucking burning human shit with JP8
Well,
in a barrel in Iraq.
Fucking crazy,
Just black
dude.
shit all over my face,
Oh,
smoking
dude.
cigarettes. Hey.
Those aren't even
Fucking
taxed.
Hancock. It was just like,
awesome. Yeah.
oh man, good times.
Awesome.
That shit's
That's
that
great.
shit's real for people that don't know that. It's just like
100%,
jar.
man. Well,
That's
dude, we
funny.
fucking love and appreciate you being on.
Yeah.
For
I'd love
sure.
to have you on again, man. Anytime you want to come
Absolutely.
out,
Let's
I
make
think
it happen.
we're gonna be out in California, probably at least once or twice this
Yeah.
time. Like, dude, and I hope I'm one of the pioneers when
I
I'm
want
like,
to
hey,
fire
man,
up my
you
podcast.
need a fucking
You'll
podcast.
be on my podcast.
I would
in San
absolutely
Diego.
love to.
Yes.
But I'm also just a big fan of like, hey, dude, there's probably so much more you could talk about. Like, I know we went through each phase of your path, but I guarantee you each of those phases have their own fucking stories to them.
yeah.
There's just so much more that like I think people want to hear from you. I'm sure there's so much more you give in your coaching program when people are
is.
with you and they're intimate and it's in that group setting. Man, what a gift of like
Yeah.
you just having your own podcast and just letting that go. So if we
Good
can
point.
help with that, we're definitely a big fan. Like I'll take full credit for being one of your early fans of like
Yeah,
telling you
appreciate it, bro.
you know fucking podcast. But we'll make sure we have links
Yep.
in the clips below if you guys are listening on Spotify or iTunes. But we'll also have it on social media if you guys are
100%.
listening there. Absolutely.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Until
Right
next
on.
time, guys.
That's
We're
right. Let's
out
go.
of here.
Day $1.0.
Out of here.
I'ma sip it on down and turn it up. Southbound and trailblazing, yeah, bud. And the posse dirty, filthy like a spit cup. Dropping bombs out the gate, bringing big guns. Raw records, we the steak, we the A1. Speak up and we know where we came from. Welcome to the posse, let me hear ya. tongue and some long cut. I'ma slip it on down and turn it up. Southbound and we're trailblazing, yeah, bud. And a posse dirty, filthy like a spit cup.